Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with another day in the MSI gaming arena, also fondly known as the MGA, powered by MSI in association with Intel and Nvidia. My name is Vivek. With me is the one and only Floki.
Oh
How's
yeah,
it going?
how you been, Vivek?
Excited. I mean, we're getting to see India on the big stage after a while. I'm really curious to see where this leads for them. 2 out of 4 teams will be qualifying today to the next round of qualifiers. Also, for those of you tuning in, some of you tuning in once again from some of the earlier qualifiers, there is a giveaway, so do hang around. Do wait, we'll tell you more about that. But Floki, the patch,
Yeah.
the DOTA.
Oh my god, I mean, where do I even start? So the meta has been somewhat defined, right? You have your ranged carries, everybody wants to pick those glide meal builders, be it the Mirana, be it the Nature's Prophet, whoever it might be. But we are starting to see some sort of answers develop. I mean, we're seeing teams try different stuff. We've seen Nature's Prophet being played in the safe lane by Team Liquid. I believe there's a couple of unexplored heroes in the mid lane. I think Invoker has some potential. Maybe we could see Tiny making a bit of a comeback. And I do think that the meta, even though it has been defined, is not set in stone right now. There's still a lot of room to explore and improve, and I think we're going to see that happening today. Or maybe we're going to see them, be way ahead in terms of the meta. Maybe they leap like 2 years ahead, pick something from the future. Who knows?
Yeah, I have a lot to ask you about the meta, but for now, this is where the meta needs to be applied to figuring out how to get your hands on a podium finish or a 4th place finish. What's at stake? $15,000. And there you go, it's $7,000 US dollars, mind you, for 1st place. 2nd place walks away with 4,000, 3rd place with 2,000, and 3rd and 4th place actually both walk away with $2,000. So, yeah, it should be a well-fought tournament. Now, there are teams from all around Southeast Asia and South Asia that are fighting at these qualifiers. Today, the focus is on the India region and the India qualifier. And 4 teams, 2 best of ones. These are the semi-finals, and 2 out of those 4 teams will be able to move ahead and fight for these 15,000 US dollars that are at stake.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, dare I say this might even end up being a competitive Indian qualifier, which is not something we were used to saying, say, 5 years ago in the state of Indian Dota. But now, as time has gone on and people have retired and new people have come up, it seems like there is more and more competition in terms of, who's going to be the top team from India. So we're going to find that out, really quickly. But let's have a look at the match schedule and see which teams are going to be playing. We're going to be having Titans going up against True Sight, followed up, True Strike, excuse me. True Sight is a series that is beloved and we all miss very dearly. But the second match is going to be Team Whoops and Rogue Squad. So for those of you who have been around the block a while, who have been watching Indian Dota since 2018 or 2019, you might recognize certain familiar names coming up here in these matches. But with that said, I think both of these matches are going to be a little bit, let's just say closer than we might anticipate, because I don't think some of the best Indian players are playing in all of these teams. I feel like there are players representing, in other regions. So maybe we're going to see some of that being played out. I believe we have No Chance, who's going to be playing in Team Whoops. We have Soul as well, who's going to be playing in Titans. And let's see which team is going to come out on top. I feel like so far the way it has been seeded, the grand finals, it should be a close affair. What do you think?
Yeah, it should be a close affair. And what's also interesting is that Pasol and No Chance, 2 of the established old guard of Indian Dota, are on other sides of the bracket. So, in a sense, they will not be clashing each other early on or eliminating each other. That's good for fans of Indian Dota. And we have a chance to look at Pasol's team here. I remember Master Instinct and Pasol, obviously. The other 3 are relatively newer players to the Indian scene and the Indian circuit. And it's good to see some new blood flowing.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like a lot of these names are not names that I recognize, but like you said, I recognize Pasol and Master Instinct from earlier tournaments. I believe I've also seen some of these players in Immortal Pubs in our region. So I feel like, these are some familiar names coming up here. Let's see how well they're going to perform. Of course, Titans going up against True Strike. True Strike, I would say that Titans are the clear favorites over here. But hey, maybe there's something that True Strike know about the meta that we don't. Of course, we're gonna find out when we get into the game. With that said, though, I'll be very surprised if we see certain heroes come out, because certain heroes have been sort of taboo in the Indian scene. And as you can see, this is Team Titans and their player webcams. These are all the players who are going to be duking it out today in the MSI gaming arena. But yeah, I do think that heroes like Lone Druid might not see a play, because just historically speaking, that's not been one of the heroes that people really like to pick here. I mean, there's been a lot less of Nature's Prophet, Lone Druid, Visages, etc., if you followed the Indian Dota scene for a while.
Yes, but I'll come back to that, because these are Pasol's opponents today. Chill, Razor, Boo, Zen, Blacklocked. Once again, True Strike, not True Sight. True Sight is a word which has just disappeared from our vocabulary. Many of you who joined or were introduced to Dota within the past 3 years wouldn't believe that Valve used to actually make some pretty cool documentary stuff about what went down at the International. That is no more. Now we have True Strike, which, well, you do need to build nowadays versus the Wind Ranger, and I've been seeing a lot of people build it on, like, I mean, MKB on a Luna, but you have to do stuff like that. If we just look at past history and data sets from what we know, because I've seen Pasol play since 2016, I think it goes without saying that, yeah, that Pasol and his team is the obvious favorite in this matchup. We've got some of True Strike's players on our cameras. That's a very sweet keyboard, top left.
I love the fact he's just chilling out there on the beach on a virtual background. That's top tier stuff.
Absolutely. This man has been in one of many Zoom call within a company. That's when you know about the beach background.
Yeah. Certainly, but let's have a quick look at the brackets and see, exactly how these matches are going to be played out, just in case you weren't sure. So, just have 4 teams duking it out. Winners going to the finals of the qualifiers, where one of these teams will be going forward and representing this region further. But yeah, it's going to be Titans versus True Strike going up against each other for now, followed by Whoops going up against Rogue Squad. And I do think there are very clear favorites in this qualifier, but with that said, I am curious as to what some of these newer teams bring. I mean, I don't recall any names from True Strike. I believe we might see some familiar names on the side of Rogue Squad and maybe Team Whoops, but again, those names aren't just... I mean, not all of them are going to be familiar to people who have been in touch with the Indian Dota scene for a while.
I agree with you. A lot of new names and new blood. In fact, although Rogue Squad is a very old, I mean not very old, but reasonably old team name, all the players are rather new. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, if you look at it, Titans and Whoops, favorites, established names, True Strike and Rogue Squad, new blood, possible chances of upsetting some of the more known names in the scene. And that is something that we have to consider, Floki, because these are best of ones. So
yeah,
it's one and done. No Chance once upon a time used to pick a lot of cheese. I don't know if he's going to be able to bring it out, and the reason I'm referencing cheese picks is because you mentioned we don't see a lot of Visage or Lone Druid, but No Chance historically has been the one man that could micro a lot. He would play Mapo. I know he plays a lot of Lone Druid. So if we do see any of these heroes, it's going to be because of No Chance. And yeah, I guess we just have to wait and watch to see if we might see any surprise picks.
But with that said, I do want to interject here and just mention really quickly that historically speaking, actually, you won't let me get back to that. Do make sure you scan the QR code and you have a chance to win some amazing prizes over here. And we're going to keep coming back with this QR code, so make sure you stay tuned to the stream and don't just drop out after the match is over, because, well, these codes are going to show up and you're going to have some really cool prizes to win, which you otherwise might miss out on. But with that said, I was saying that Pasol historically in Indian Dota has been a figure that always, just when you start thinking this man is out of the picture, comes in, makes a splash, disappoints the old guard, disappoints all the people who think they're really good, smacks him and takes a spot out of nowhere. And then maybe, it's going to be a couple of another months or years of him being quiet, but he always comes back and makes a splash. And I want to see him do that in this tournament. I want to see him going up against the best, going up against some of the old guard, and showing them that while all this time that they have been preparing, he's been doing some preparation of his own, and he's far ahead of them this time around. I want to see some of that being played out. But with that said, it's not going to be particularly easy because you have very, very experienced players here in the scene who've been playing for a while, who have seen tournaments and players come and go, who have seen players rise and fall. So beating an old man at his own game, figuratively speaking, is not the easiest things. One of the easiest things to do. And as far as that is concerned, I feel like no chance he's a fairly old man.
Yeah. The other thing that I'd like to mention is that, Pasol and No Chance are on opposite sides of the brackets. So it's actually an opportunity for a lot of newer names to possibly knock out Pasol and No Chance.
Yep.
And see to it that they do not progress in this qualifier. So both Rogue Squad as well as True Strike have an entire bunch of new players, and I'm very curious to see if they can cause not just one but two possible upsets here. So it's going to be interesting. Yep. I still feel that there's a lot to be discovered in this patch. Yes, of course, at a very broad level, it feels like, yeah, you need auras, somebody makes auras, you win.
I feel like you need some initiation, you need some auras, and you need some pushing power. I feel like if you can hit all those three in a draft, you are going to be set for success, right? Because you have your 20-minute Tormentors, you have your early Roshans, you have all these tier 1 towers. There's just way too much gold out on the map in terms of objectives to be missing out on by not building auras. There's just not enough room to exploit all the jungle camps that the game currently offers you. It's just so much better to take all the objectives and then slow the pace of the game down, farm up a lead, take it from 10k to 20k to 30k to 40k, and then close out the game. You don't want to immediately just go knocking on the high ground.
You don't want to, but teams have done that during TI. Having said that, though, Indian teams do not tend to go knocking on high ground very soon. I think these will be slower games. I expect the first game that we're going to be witnessing between Pasol's team, that is the Titans, as well as True Strike. That game is going to be a bit slow. I'm not expecting anybody to really play a faster pace of game, although we did have some very fast games at TI. I'm expecting the first game to be quite slow. Nobody's going to be taking high ground anytime soon. I want to see how effective they are around the map when it comes to objectives and gate rotations, because I've not seen too much of any Indian teams really move around the gate. And
me neither.
Yeah, with Pinkman and with No Chance later on in the day or evening, there is a lot of possibility that we should see a very rotation-based game, at least from Team Whoops. But I'm very curious how Pasol fares in that department, considering that he's playing support. I think game 1, the game between the Titans and True Strike, I think that is where we can see an upset flow game.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
There's a good chance we can see an upset. The draft is going to be so crucial.
I agree.
Pasol has been blindsided many a time on various drafts. I'm hoping that it doesn't happen this time around.
Yeah, but historically speaking, he's also been the guy ushering some of the newer talent into the scene. I believe he was one of the original members who first played with Neki, if that's a name that people are familiar with in the Indian Dota scene. So I mean, this man, he's got an eye for talent. It's just, what can you do? If sometimes he might just come up with a player that you haven't heard of, and give him all the confidence that he needs and all the room in the world they need to, bring their A game. And maybe just today is going to be Pasol's day. Maybe we're going to see him absolutely stomp them out. But with that said, I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as we might think. I feel like Team True Strike is going to stand a fair chance, and a lot of that is going to come down to how they prefer to open in their drafts, right? I feel like you do need to pick up some sort of early ranged hero that may or may not have some flex potential that can potentially build the Gleipnir, just so that you can start forcing the enemy team to respond to your draft already, right? Like, because that's just way too strong to give up in this patch. You have a Nature's Prophet or a Mirana or a Luna, just any sort of early game tempo based carry who can buy the Gleipnir and join their team. You want that on your side. If they ignore it, I feel like it's going to cause trouble, and that's where things are going to start to get a little bit wonky. And I don't want to see either of the teams do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, it goes without saying that this patch has been a patch of Gleipnir.
And items, yeah.
Yeah, and very particular items. Like, of course, the Solar Crush was quite powerful early on. Post-offs are important without a doubt. I also want to talk
your Greaves, your Crimsons, almost every aura item under the sun.
All those items, I mean, they just removed Wraith Pact, but there are 3 other items that, in essence, could do something similar for you. And one thing I want to point out is the support duos and the importance of the support duos in this patch. Yeah, I feel we're focusing a lot on the Wind Ranger and all those heroes that do build Gleipnir, but I feel if you can get your hands on Shadow Demon Tusk and you can play Shadow Demon Tusk as a support duo, I mean, there is no reason for anyone to stop you.
Yeah, there's no fight that those 2 supports cannot take. Like, you've got double save, you've got counter initiation, you've got ways of cancelling TPs, you've got hard dispels, you've got everything you need under the sun between those 2 supports. But it always just so happens that in the first phase you can't really, pick 2 heroes, so it's a little bit rough. We'll see what happens though in the draft. We'll see what sort of heroes start being banned out. Titans are going to open up with a rather interesting one. I feel like this is more targeted. Invoker being banned out first phase from the side of the Titans. And even bigger surprise is going to be True Strike banning out OD and Lina. Okay, that is completely out of left field. Didn't see that one coming.
I guess the Lina makes sense. Like, generally considered a very strong pause 1 in this patch. A little flexible as well. But yeah, Invoker OD first phase, if you ask me today morning what the hell was going to get banned, I would be like, there's no way we could predict this. I just want to set some context for our viewers. India has its own meta. It often forms from pubs and these guys knowing each other intimately, just within the game, not outside the game. So there is subtext here to these bans that we aren't privy to. But yeah, OD Lina, I cannot explain that, Floki.
Yeah, me neither. I was expecting more of a Sand King ban, maybe a Lone Druid, Mirana, a Nature's Prophet. There's so many other heroes that are great to ban out in the first phase, but with these, I feel like you're just giving away your hand. You're just starting to reveal that, oh, okay, well, there's going to be all of these heroes in the pool, and you're going to get your pick, and we're going to get ours, and we're just going to go up against each other and see who's stronger. And while I like that mentality, while I like that aspect, I feel like that's a little bit arrogant to be drafting that way against a team that has members as experienced as Pasol is.
Okay, I'm just going to talk about the last 2 bans. Willow is one of Pasol's go-to heroes, and Tinker is also one of Pasol's go-to heroes. When he wasn't immortal, at a certain stage of the MMR system, he did use Tinker mid to climb. Tinker is great, farms auras, does everything that you can expect of a support, and likewise Willow is one of his go-to favorites. Clockwork, Floki? No surprise?
No, not at all, actually. It makes perfect sense with heroes like the Mirana, right? Like, you have those range carries. If you want to pick up a Mirana, if you want to pick up, the Nature's Prophet, then you want a hero like Clockwork in the lane. You either want a Clockwork or a Treant or a Tusk, any sort of melee hero that can enable the ranged hero to do more damage or, just pump out some extra right clicks, and all those heroes fit the bill. Is it worth trading a Clockwork for a Sand King, though? I think the answer is no. I don't think Clockwork even remotely answers Sand King or sort of deals with it, so I'm interested to see how Titans choose to react to this. They're gonna have 1 man coming up each on both sides, so I wonder what is it that they are gonna ban out, because I feel like there's no It's hard. It's really hard to deal with Sand King in all lanes, especially when he's been picked this early on. Because if you put him in the off lane, well, sure, you can have your Miranas and whatnot, but, you know, it's a Sand King. He's got Burrow Strike and Sandstorm, so he can close the gap against those range carries, be effective. You put him in the mid lane, you put him up against melee heroes like Ember Spirit and Dragon Knight, he's gonna out-damage them with the Sandstorm, with the Stinger, and out-farm them. You put him anywhere else, you're gonna lose the game. But with that said, I just don't think there are enough options in the safe lane or in the mid lane to deal with this hero. And you just don't have enough picks to cover the Sand King. So I'm interested to see how Titans solve this problem, because it is a problem. And those problems have been exacerbated by the Ancient Apparition, so now they have global kill potential. Anywhere they go on the map, if the Sand King finds a stun, you could find a kill.
These feel like comfort picks, and I mean, the Titans draft is coming together a bit. I was very afraid with their opening and the next set of bans. But yeah, Sand King A looks really strong. Sand King is obviously very flexible as to what position you want to send him to. You can play him as one, you can play, you can play him as a pause 2, you can put him mid, you can put him in the off lane. And if you're a bit experimental and do not care about how many drinks you had in the day before you queue a pub, you can put him on a support position as well.
Yeah.
Highly not advised. But yeah, Sand King and Ancient Apparition looks like a really good start. Titans go for the Doom. We all know how you can abuse the Midas and get early aura items. We've seen Ramses have phenomenal success with the Doom for the side of Tundra. So yeah, I'm not fully sold on the Rubik pick. It does allow them to flex it and put the Rubik mid if they want to, but I'm not fully sold. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like this Rubik is actually the answer to the Sand King. Yeah, I don't think this is a mid Rubik as much as it's like, okay, you have Burrow Strike. Well, okay, we'll just steal it and we'll turn it around. You know, you have Epicenter. Okay, we'll steal Epicenter as well. So
yeah, it doesn't work like that. I feel like Rubik is a lot more effective against something like an Earthshaker. Sure, you will steal Burrow Strike, but it's so situational. Like, I mean, like, unless, in my opinion, he gets farm priority, making that Burrow Strike useful, and usually Burrow Strike is level 1, 11 minutes into the game. It mostly, yeah, I mean, you max.
I mean, if it's mid lane, it's gonna be max Burrow Strike, right? It's gonna be max Sandstorm and max Burrow Strike. But if it's off lane, yeah, like, probably, the Burrow Strike's not gonna be super high level.
Fair. I'm not sold, though. I'm not entirely
actually
convinced.
Yeah, you make a good point.
Yeah. It's good. Like, I mean, of course, this is not a bad game for the Rubik. Like, now with the Lich coming in, it only looks better. It's great to see Lich. I remember one of Fly's comments on when he was on the panel during this TI was that, you know, we don't see any more of those conventional position fires anymore.
Yeah, you don't see those honest to God, oh, I'm Oracle, I'm gonna try and save my core. If you can jump me, you win the team fight. Yada yada, yeah. I remember that. But a Medusa picked up by True Strike. That is an interesting choice because, I mean, it's a good answer to the Doom. You don't really care about all that damage coming in, but Anti-Mage was open and Titans instantly snagged that. And now what are you gonna do if you're True Strike? What on earth did I just witness? Okay, that's a bit of a goof up. I'm gonna call it the way it is. You've picked up a Medusa and a Sand King, and you know that's both of those heroes are dealt with very well by the Anti-Mage. This does make lanes a little bit awkward here for the side of the Titans because you now have potentially an Anti-Mage Clockwork in the safe lane. But that can be remedied. You know, maybe you can throw in the Rubik if you really want to secure the Anti-Mage's game up top, and then he's gonna have a good time. And maybe the Doom suffers down bottom, but that's okay because the Anti-Mage will carry.
10 seconds.
Speaking of the bans coming out though, Puck, Pangolier, I'm not even sure if that matters anymore. Vivek, what are your thoughts on the Anti-Mage? Do you see this like this Medusa draft working out for True Strike?
I don't think this is a pause 1 Medusa. I think the Medusa is mostly going mid. Yeah,
I feel like that's being too generous. I don't think this hero makes a lot of sense mid.
Oh, okay, we're gonna have a bet about this. I think the Medusa is going mid. You will.
I mean, it can go mid. I'm just saying it's not that good.
It doesn't matter though. I mean, you can put AM mid and still own the Medusa. So, yeah, of course. Sure, she has a little bit more utility with the change up to her spells, but like I don't know. Not convinced. I completely agree with you. The Husker ban is interesting. It is very interesting. I'm not quite able to read why there's a. I mean, you do know the taunt with life break thing now, right? It's really strong.
Yeah, with the Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, it does pure spell immunity or
10
debuff
seconds remaining.
immunity, and it's an interesting bang. I
5
like the
seconds
Puck
remaining.
van. Puck would have really helped versus the anti-mage versus the Doom. I'm not able to think of one hero that can really put together the True Strike draft. And if this is a Medusa mid, the question is what do you put on the safe lane? That really makes sense now. Or what do you put mid?
Yeah, I would have said the Monkey King, and the Monkey King is in for both of these teams, so maybe True Strike can pick that up, and that would make sense.
I like that.
But for Titans, I don't know what makes sense. I don't know what mid laner they're looking for right now. You know, having a Storm is nice, but then playing Storm into Medusa,
Storm is
you don't
banned.
feel that
Storm
good.
is banned.
Oh, Storm has been banned. There
Yeah.
you go. Okay, never mind. So that's completely out of the picture. It's hard. It's hard. I don't know if. I don't even know if this is a Spirit Hero game. I feel like you just want to pick another carry and just sort of say you're gonna outscale you on True
I think
Strike.
you do Dragon Knight. It makes the most sense. I feel like
With the Monkey King in though, I feel like that's I
Risky?
don't know. Yeah, I feel like picking up Dragon Knight is gonna be risky. If anything,
Kunkka. Kunkka.
Kunkka on the mid lane. Okay, I mean yeah, we've seen it being played with the Ags and whatnot. So yeah, makes sense. I mean, could work. Kunkka is actually not a bad idea if you're looking for a playmaker right now. Yeah, I mean I would be down with that, but.
Do you want to consider something like the Timber Saw? I was thinking about it, but
No, the Timbersaw doesn't make sense to me against a Medusa Apparition Lich. There's just way too much magical damage and just too many
Floki.
problems to deal with.
There is
Yeah.
one hero that you play
Dire
main.
team
Shadowfiend?
keeper
No.
of the light.
Come on.
Okay, this is not going to be my. I was going to call Pugna, but he.
Okay.
I mean, this is such a great game. It
This
would have
is
been
a good
such a
partner
great
game.
for the Titans.
Oh yeah.
But never mind. It's a mid keeper of the light.
I like it. It makes some sense, you know. If you
You may now
get
select
oh
your heroes.
what on earth? Okay, mid
Interesting.
Sand King. Yeah, mid Sand King against the Keeper of the Light, safe lane Medusa, and an off lane Legion Commander. So that's gonna be the draft here for the side of True Strike. That makes. I don't want to say that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense in a void, but when you look at the enemy heroes, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not too sure what on earth is going on. So it is going to be the post for Rubik, at least we know that. He's going to be going down bottom with the Doom. It's going to be a clockwork anti-mage lane. The question now, Vivek, is the LC plus Ancient Apparition combo strong enough to deal with the AM Lich? And I think the answer is going to be yes. But again, you know, it's a lot of it is going to come down to how well the Clockwork plays early on with the Cogs, because there's two facets you can go for. We've seen both being picked up. I believe post 4 sometimes go for the one that gives you lower cooldown on hook shot when hitting an ally, and you know, the other one gives you the expanded Cogs. So yeah, I mean, a lot of it is going to come down to that level 1 trade between the LC and the Apparition and the Clockwork.
What can you do?
Well, chat wheels are coming out already. What can you do?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the lanes here, and I feel like you pick a Lich, you need to get off to a strong start. Like LC
Yeah.
meant to win his lane, Lich lane winning hero, Ancient Apparition theoretically should be a little strong in lane. If nothing else, he needs to hit his ultimates. If these supports are under leveled at the 10-minute mark, then we can say goodbye to True Strike in this tournament and their chances.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So the Doom went for the Gluttony facet and not for the other one, which increases your buyback cost, but you know, allows you to sell items for 90%. The thing about that Doom is that he gains levels a lot quicker, so he ends up becoming relevant in the game at a much earlier point. What Titans are telling me is that
Prepare
they
for
feel like they actually don't have the tempo to fight them early on. They instead want to farm up on the Cortal, on the Doom, on the AM, and take it post 30 minutes. That's what I feel. True Strike, their goal is simple. They want to get the early objectives. They want to get the Medusa a fast butterfly, and they want to push and maybe close out the map with the first Aegis. Master Instinct, he's going to be spotted, placing that Observer Ward nice and early. So some good information here for the side of True Strike, but True Strike, on the other hand, they've got the superior draft, so they can just sort of dodge this engagement, go for double bounty runes, and just get off to a normal start. And Master Instinct will deward that ward as a result.
Interesting. I mean, it's just phenomenal how well these two teams read each other. I didn't expect a level 1 smoke heading in this direction, and True Strike being ready for it. I don't know if these teams scrim each other a lot, or if they sit on Discord and watch anime together. I'm not quite sure. But it felt like they knew very, very well what the other team was going to do.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense too, right? Like, the quickest way you can disrupt someone who relies on a really good lane is to get first blood, you know, take a level 1 team fight, throw things in. Well, disarray and the apparition. Oh, I don't think he detected the ward there. He didn't step far enough forward for the tower to aggro him, so they actually... Oh, never mind. That is the dire ward that has been placed, not the radiant one. Excuse me. Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
that was the dire ward. So, quick look at the lanes, Floki. What do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like the bottom lane is probably going to be favoring the side of True Strike. Mid lane, the Sand King, and the Cottle should be level. I don't think any one outfarms the other in particular. The Cottle should be having a fine time. Top lane is what I'm most concerned about, because you've got Doom Rubik going up against a Medusa Lich. And at some point, this Doom, he might have to leave the lane if the Medusa plays the cards right. But so far, they're pushing the lane, making sure that they don't have to deal with that a bit too much. So things should be a-okay. Mid lane, 3 CS apiece, 1 deny each. And somehow Sand King is at level 2, but Keeper of the Light has not. That was interesting. Yeah, but
Yeah, so the Sand King did zone him out and get a couple of denies, and he just walked up in Sandstorm and pushed Cottle out of the lane, and Cottle forced to eliminate, couldn't go ahead and secure his CS. I feel like this is a lane where, I mean, where either one of the mid laners could abuse their jungle. I'm leaning more towards the Sand King coming out in terms of farm, but then that Cottle has to get that early first item and make meaningful rotations. So obviously 6-minute runes is what we should be watching out for.
Another big issue, though, for the side of, well, True Strike is going to be that the Sand King is going to have to get the Blink Dagger nice and early. He can't really go for the Bloodstone because he needs to enable his team to make moves on the map, right? LC, Sand King, Lich, Apparition, all very tempo-based heroes. If your first few rotations don't work out, you don't really farm your way back into the game. So a lot of pressure here on the Sand King to perform and potentially set his team up for success. With that said, not the same kind of pressure here on the side of the Titans. In fact, if you look at the top lane, the Medusa has lost 80% of her mana, so she's not going to be feeling too comfortable farming up, and that's all thanks to Pasol and his relentless aggression, showing up with 2 sets of tangos and just right-clicking Medusa and letting her know who's boss.
Yeah. The good news for both offlaners is that I think they have access to the hard camp. So nobody's hard camp's really been blocked. So the offlaners should be coasting through the laning phase. And with time, we'll have to wait and watch if the LC and the Ancient Apparition can apply pressure on this anti-mage. Because, I mean, the thing about this lane for the AM is that he cannot sit here for too long. Like, eventually the LC will just start trading him without mana and still be coming out on top.
Yeah. Pretty much. That is what's going to happen. And that's partly because LC, well, she can just buy the Soul Ring and remedy that problem super quickly, right?
Yeah.
AM, on the other hand, no innate natural regen, no other way of bringing HP back up. So he's going to have to suffer, call in tangos, or, you know, just tug it out until he gets the cornucopia. Or better yet, he's going to have to make some early aggressive plays with his Clockwork and see if he can find the Apparition. But again, that's kind of difficult when the LC is just shoving the wave in your face. Not much you can do about that as the AM.
Yeah. It feels as if this lane is done for the AM. I'm not worried. Nothing's really going to come of this, but I think the anti-mage has run through all his regen, and LC is just going to grow stronger and stronger and totally kick him out of lane. The rotations from the Keeper of the... Oh, look at that. One large overwhelming odds. And I think there was a blood grenade in the mix, Floki.
Yeah. It came in, and that's what secured the last hit. So the Apparition finds the first blood. And again, True Strike, we said they needed tempo. Well, they're off to a strong start down bottom. And that's exactly the set of heroes you want to give that early XP to. Allow them to snowball nice and early into the game.
Yeah.
Top lane, Medusa has recovered a fair amount of her mana, so she's not doing all that bad herself. gone for the second point in the Gorgon's Grasp, I believe, is what it's called. So that is your root ability. Pasol actually trading, and oh, can he find the lift? He can. Lift back is going to be there. Fate Bolt, another right-click Lotus will be able to find the kill. The Lich just overestimating his strength and ends up feeding a kill.
I'm not
And
quite
again-
sure why he hung around. Also, one of
Yeah.
the things is Floki the Lich has a couple of mana issues as a hero. So I don't know if internally he just decided it's better to reset.
I don't think you reset that way. I think you go suicide to the tier 2, but feeding a kill away to a Doom and Rubik, especially when they are meant to be the slower lineup. I mean, Titans are the ones who have,
this is
you
so
know,
good.
the timer on them. Yeah.
So good for the Sand King. I mean, I mentioned this, like when it comes to jungle stacks, the Sand King is going to farm faster than the Keeper of the Light. And this is just feeling like the kind of game where True Strike are going to be walking into the mid game with a very farm Sand King who should be able to counter and nullify all the Kotal's rotations. So,
Dire's structures are
yeah, I'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
a bit concerned if I were a Titan supporter.
Likewise, I feel like Titans have, you know, a big problem at the moment, and that's going to be the Sand King coming on. Oh, the Sand King coming online in the mid game. But that said, though, down bottom quick, a bit too far forward, but the Cogs will keep him alive for now. LC tanking a little bit of the tower, but should be okay.
Radiant structures
And well,
are
when the dust
fortified.
settles, no kill has been found, but the AM, I think he's going to be feeling more comfortable with how things played out over there.
Radiant's middle tower
Sand King,
is under
though,
attack.
stepping a bit too far forward, will cop some damage, and there is a rotation coming in from Pasol, so this Sand King might have some trouble staying alive. Lift back is there. Can you find another Solar Bind? Master Instinct taking a lot of damage in the Sandstorm, and so is the Rubik. In fact, they might just end up falling away if they keep chasing. No, they will retreat. A bit too close for comfort, and that's what happens when you disrespect the Sandstorm, Vivek.
Oh yeah. But this is what matters. The 6-minute rune, that's why all these moves are being made across the map. And Pasol gets a haste rune. He's also got the reduced cooldown courtesy the Kotal. And this should be an easy kill with the help of the Chakra magic. Pasol gets a kill
Dire's
and
middle
has a
tower
high
is under
impact
attack.
rotation. The next timing that I'm looking for are the 7-minute wisdom runes, Floki.
Yeah, the 7-minute Wisdom Runes coming up in 20 seconds. I feel like it should be one apiece each. Nothing too fancy going on there, not like the supports are in position to contest.
It
But
feels
if
like
anything,
Lich can sneak one.
Dire's middle
Lich
Yeah.
can
is
sneak
under
another.
attack.
Potentially, he could make a run for the enemy wisdom rune.
maybe he's already too late, and I think he knows that too, and so he's just not
trying.
going to make that.
The man
move.
is trying. No.
No, he's going
It's
for
a
the
Lotus.
Lotus. That somehow made it past the 6 minutes
Why
into the
is that
7.
Lotus there? I'm not sure.
Yep, that is the correct question to ask in Zone Arc. Well, I believe he felt a bit too comfortable over there. Steps up, doesn't take too much damage, but now has to be a little careful not to eat an extra snake here and there. Could end up being his death. But I love what the Sand King is doing. This is exactly how you abuse this hero. You farm 2 camps at once with a Sandstorm. You keep showing the layer out, and the Kotal can't do
Cotton's gone up
much.
top. He might. Okay, nothing's gonna come of this. There you go, Cotton. Made hero.
Oh,
trying to
wait a
force
second.
something. I don't think this is not going to result in anything. Boost Strike also has that
Radiant's
Lotus.
bottom tower
Like,
is under
what are you
attack.
going to do? Like, slowly, painfully right-click the Medusa? Okay, they
No, but you
kill the
can
Lich.
take down the
Well,
Lich.
yeah, they kill the Lich. Okay.
Oh, no mana. Oh, okay.
Magics. Yeah, I got the Mystic Snake. Zenero is fine. Now that this is
Wand.
awkward, I'm not quite sure why no one's responding to this from the side of True Strike. They're just going to let the Medusa die. This is slow. This is painful, but this is happening. Elsewhere on the map, it looked as if the Clockwork was trying to go for a kill. Or nearly ended up dying, but he stays alive. But I'm puzzled, Floki. I do not...
I am as well. What
That-
on earth was that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Sand King should have TP'd there, okay? The Sand King and the Apparition should have both TP'd there. That is very punishable.
Oh, the Sand
But
King gets a
Sand
solo
King somehow
kill,
finds
mate.
the AM. Oh, okay. That's not what I was expecting either. I don't know what's going on. The Sand King just finding the AM? Why was the AM in the mid lane?
Is under attack.
It feels like the aim's been kicked out of the safe lane because of the LC. The problem that I have is that the Ancient Apparition is still sitting bottom with the LC. And if not for the Sand King making that rotation, the Ancient Apparition should have a TP. It should probably just move top and try and help out his Medusa. However, it feels like True Strike are just waiting for the support to hit level 6. And then maybe that's when they try and make plays. Pasol on the Rubik is already hit 6. The Clockwork, well, he's been quietly leeching EXP down bottom. So it's a matter of time before, the Clockwork hits 6 and then they start moving across the map. If you just look at net worth, look who's at the bottom of the net worth amongst all the cores, Floki.
It is the anti-mage. So, I mean, Titans, they have their set of problems, but this is completely okay. And the reason that is the case is that when your mid laner and off laner are this far ahead in the game, I mean, if you look right below the Sand King, you'll see that the Doom and Kotl are super high in net worth. It means you're going to be the one dictating the tempo on the map, which means as soon as this Clockwork finds a 6, as soon as the Rubik finds a 6, which he already did, you're going to be able to make plays like this, and the Sand King is going to end up falling. And there it is. This is what I mean when I say that it's okay for your carry to have a bad game if your mid laner and off laner are doing well.
Well, this is really bad. This is really suspect. I mean, they try and go in the Clockwork, but there was the Keeper of the Light with his Illuminate, and now they're trying to turn around this duel. They will not be able to turn around the duel. Or, I don't know if I saw that correctly, but with that dig in, Master Instinct finds himself an ultra kill as 4 heroes die from the side of True Strike.
Yeah, that's a bit too confident from the side of True Strike. That LC went up to the duel like she was going to survive and get away, but she probably could have, to her credit. But then she tried to turn around and fight the Kotl. Like, that's sort of what baffled me. And
Wait,
the Ice Vortex.
It's a stolen duel?
No, it wasn't a stolen duel. It was the LC dueling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what surprised me the most about that engagement is that the LC actually decided to man up after she won the duel. That's sort of what got her. But all, even after all is said and done, the good thing for True Strike is that they still have avenues. They still have ways of making plays. They still have heroes who can do really well in the mid game, and that's partly because of the fact that they have an LC who's going to be going a Blink, a Sand King who's also going to be going for the Blink. The LC is in fact rushing the Blink Dagger. I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like you don't really want to break, the sort of death ball that you're starting to make right now in favor of making plays on the map, and a Blade Mail would have gone a long way towards assuring that, because you start to make a rotation on the LC, she turns on the Blade Mail, suddenly your rotation's wasted, and you probably can't find the kill. But maybe they consider the Kotl such a big threat that they feel like there's no other way to deal with him except to get double blinks on the Sand King as well as the Legion Commander. And Sand King is actually not even going for blink; he's going for the Bloodstone. Okay,
I'm okay with the Bloodstone, but who's building the pipe here?
Yeah, who's building the pipe? And I mean, more than that, I feel like who's really gonna be doing the damage on the side of True Strike. Like, once Epicenter is gone, who's the damage? Like, who's the hero that is meant to deal damage? I feel like that's really lacking on the side of True Strike's route if you look at it. I mean, it's not going to be LC because she's not going to get Blade Mail. The Apparition doesn't really have a lot of levels. Medusa's probably going to go farm. Lich, yes, but that hero's going to need a lot more levels and would have had to be snowballing a lot harder to be able to provide all that damage. So I'm a little suspicious of these Blink Dagger pickups coming in from True Strike. As we have a couple of pauses coming in. Indian internet having its moment over here. But while we are paused, I do think, overall, tempo-wise, the game is still in favor of the Titans, even though their aim is not doing well.
Absolutely, and they shouldn't be having this kind of lead in terms of tempo and momentum. This is just one of the most painful disasters I've ever witnessed on the stream, that, the Medusa is being gone upon for a good 6-7 minutes and no one is reacting. LC gets his dual damage, but yeah, I mean, Master Instinct gets a whole lot more. I really just hope he doesn't upgrade his Dagon for too many levels, because that's a bit of a trap that you can fall into with the Dagon.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him build into something that helps his team. And I'm honestly really concerned for True Strike. They're going for 2 blinks, which is very heavy commitment into having an explosive mid-game, and they aren't playing like the kind of team that can have a convincing or successful or explosive mid-game. I'm concerned. I mean, like, the AM is playing catch-up, and he is going to catch up. It's going to be a 29-minute Battle Fury at the way things are going right now.
Radiant's bottom
Level
Yeah,
win-
but I feel like even that 29-minute Battle Fury is gonna cut it, simply because of the amount of map control Titans have. And
Yeah.
it's only gonna get worse. Smoke up coming in from them.
Yeah, and all this map control is coming courtesy Pasol and Master Instinct. I mean, Pasol was the first one to start moving. Master Instinct did move as well. He's got his boots of travels. The map is starting to shrink a bit for True Strike. It feels as if Pasol and his boys are waiting for the 12-minute power-up rune. Or maybe not. They're just gonna go. I hear a Burrow Strike somewhere.
Dire
Boo
are
in
scanning.
the river in the middle of nowhere. Quick on the high ground. Sand King, Boo Strike. Uh-oh. They've been caught. Caught in the cogs. This might just be a disaster. The Chain Frost, decent though. The Ancient Apparition gets himself a double kill, and Master's Instinct manages to fight one. Boo with the epicenter shuts down Pasol, and just like that, True Strike lose only their Lich and find one core and two supports. This was huge and much needed for them.
I mean, that is gonna be why Titans lose this game, if at all. They just walked up into the high ground without any vision whatsoever. The Clockwork cogged two people, and that was great, but he also ended up cogging his own Doom. And then you had all that burst damage coming in through the duel with the Apparition on the Ice Blast, along with the Lich, with the Frost Blast and the Chain Frost. So,
Oh, yeah.
yep, Doom not surviving that duel, Doom not going off. Big reason behind why Titans lose that fight. And again, this is the power of that Sand King hero. I mean, while all that was going on, that man, he was on the back lines, zoning out Pasol, so there was no chance of redemption either. It's not like the AM could have TP'd in or, maybe joined the fight and cleaned up. Just from the get-go, they just had no choice. Their Doom got dueled, and that was it.
There you go, in glorious slow motion, two heroes group up. Easy Chain Frost for the Lich. The duel's there, the Chain Frost bounces around. The Ancient Apparition has set up, thanks to the cogs. Not thanks to his skill, but just because of the Doom and the Clockwork being caught in the cogs. And there's another
no,
duel. These guys are on a roll. The Ancient Apparition setting up and playing perfectly with the LC. Another kill and a much-deserved internal tip. Elsewhere, though, the Medusa does get caught, but there's no way to cancel the TP. Doom is not what it used to be, and that's why, well, you can just TP out.
I'm not too sure what happened there. The Medusa being allowed to TP out like that was not something I expected. You drop down the Doom, you should be saving at least one disable to cancel it out. And again, I don't know if the Doom made that play because he thought that otherwise they're not going to get the Medusa, but again, this is a lot of time being bought here from True Strike, and some tempo being reclaimed too, more importantly.
It's also Doom on cooldown, right? True Strike can go again. They
Yeah.
do not have a big cooldown ultimate. I mean, the Doom is essentially useless. The rest of True Strike can still look to make plays.
Yeah, they're just waiting for the duel. That's all they're waiting for. Once the duel's up, there's no reason for them to stop. I believe the Sand King has also finished up his Bloodstone, so he's going to be really, really tanky and hard to bring down in all of these fights.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Titans, they need to be a little bit afraid on the map for the next couple of minutes. They need to split the map, push these lanes in and get information.
Right? Nobody's showing, and the LC's TP top. It feels like a 5-man smoke coming out from True Strike. And indeed it is. Boo's got his Bloodstone. The smoke is a little bit all over the place. They're not quite sure why they're smoking. I mean, logically, the next objective on the map would be the Radiant mid tier 1. It's just a 5-man smoke coming out from True Strike. Unsure as to what they need to be doing. Classic awkward group up tends to happen a lot. Get together with the guys and look at each other confused.
Yeah, and that just sort of happens because they weren't really anticipating how they want to play out the smoke and what is it that they're smoking for.
Yeah.
When you lack direction with the smoke, this is what happens. You know, your smoke's not really going to connect. You're going to end up showing on the map and gifting some tempo back to the enemy team. So, yeah, just one of those things that you don't think about until you get smacked by it in the face. And this is going to come back to haunt True Strike.
Oh, look at the TP spot him. They're trying to find a play. They have vision. They see the Doom. It's Zenero running at the Doom.
Can they get the duel?
quickly, well, he's in the cogs, but he's been dueled. He's going nowhere. That's more duel damage. This is actually the last thing you need to be doing, Floki. Giving away free duel damage to this LC.
Yeah, I mean, this LC, I'm not too sure if she was having a great game, but now she certainly is.
Oh, yeah?
Almost finished up with the Blade Mail, 16 minutes in. She's going to be such a threat on this map. All of these heroes are going to have to cower. And now the Medusa, even though She did not have the best of starts. She's starting to group up with the team. You can start pressuring objectives. You can force heroes to rotate. And Todoroki, he's still not finished off his Battle Fury. He's still 2 components away from it. Needs the recipe and the broadsword, lacking about 1,000 gold. So it's only going to be after that point that you can start to punish these sorts of moves by True Strike, and that is if they don't connect.
Just to clarify, Floki, you need Battle Fury plus 1.5 items at least before you start showing up. And I mean, just Battle Fury isn't going to cut it, and he's going to die. There's more dual damage. This is... Oh, jeez, it hurts me. It hurts me not because he died. It hurts me because I look at the net worth and Pasol's catching up on it.
Oh, man, that is painful. The anti-mage just not having a good game. I don't know why he feels so pressured to show in these places. I mean...
He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to be farming that part of the map.
The only reason he's doing this is because he doesn't have enough HP or he doesn't have power threats to be able to farm some of these strong camps.
Absolutely. You're spot on. He had Orb of Corrosion, and that's it, and just boots.
Band.
And
Yeah,
now this is a 4 or 5-man smoke from the Titans, and they're going nowhere. They're literally running backwards. This has got to be one of the worst smokes we've seen. Bottle strike coming out from Boo.
Oh my
Sandstorm
God.
stolen by Pasol. The Dagon's there, but it doesn't matter. Boo has the epicenter, no one to really catch on to. But yeah, quick Yules coming up from Pasol. That's the Rubik with his Yule Scepter. Does he get away though? All the cogs. The cogs. Thank God the cogs didn't do what they were going to. But there's the LC with the dual damage. Pasol dead. Beautiful stuff coming out from True Strike. And yeah, the Titans are going to be scratching their heads. All they had to do, Floki, was farm. Chill.
Yeah, this is really surprising coming out from the side of the Titans. I don't know what Master Instinct was doing there. He was standing completely under a Watcher that was not taken and gets spotted out. Even though the Bout of Strike missed, all heroes were there from the side of True Strike. So now, even though your initial smoke did not connect, here you are. Here's a free portal kill and a Rubik and a cherry on top. But
First
maybe
hook shot
doesn't
of the
return
game,
fire.
18 minutes in. What do we get? What do we get to see? We get to see a Doom. A little bit of nuke damage from the Coddle. They get a kill. They kill the LC. It's not a big streak, but it's still a significant amount of gold for Master Instinct. And now the Ancient Apparition. Didn't need to be that close to the LC. There's no Glimmer Cape for him to play with. He ends up dying as well. Couple of kills for Master Instinct, but I don't know, Floki. I mean, does a farmed Cortal win you the game?
I don't think Cortal really wins you any game these days. All the Cortal can do is get to the late game, have a ton of disables, be really annoying. But that's what the hero does. He doesn't do tower damage, unless you buy 3 Rapiers and a Mask of Madness. Don't ask me why I know this. But I don't see the side of Titans coming back in this game. I feel like that window is slowly but surely closing. Congratulations, you've got the Battle Fury on the Anti-Mage. It's at 90 minutes and not at 29. Hooray for that. But are you going to have enough space to let this Battle Fury go to work? That's going to be dictated by the upcoming fights that the Titans take. And you know what? This is actually not looking all that bad. The Clockwork is in position to break the smoke. Oh, and look at that. He found vision. They're trying to deward his wards. The
Probably
LC
going to die.
ends
The
up
LC with a
dueling.
flank finds the duel. It's Pasol. Pasol has himself a Yule Scepter, but that's set up for the A. The A blast is coming through, and the Bottle Strike there just in case. Pasol dead. No dual damage for the LC, but True Strike, they are owning the map. And 20 minutes, I want to give you some cherry-picked data, Floki. One hook shot is all we saw in 20 minutes.
We saw 3 Dooms, I believe, out of which 1 worked out.
Yeah, one hook shot, 3 Dooms, and an
not even
AM
3
with...
actually, probably 2 Dooms.
Yeah, an AM with just a Battle Fury and no threats.
And all
Yeah,
of corrosion.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
I would be super pissed
This
if
is
this
a
was on
replay.
my team.
Okay, yeah. To put it nicely, this is a replay you want to go and look back at if you're the Titans. You want to ask yourself, what the hell went wrong? Where did we mess up? And I feel like there's going to be a lot to learn from in this replay. Now, the good news is for the side of the Titans that you've got your auras coming up. A pipe has been built by the Doom. Then that's a pipe that Team True Strike does not have. And a lot of effective net worth available on the side of the Titans, right? Because that pipe, if it connects onto multiple heroes, I mean, the better it's going to be. True Strike, if they somehow manage to win the next fight, things are going to start to look bleak for the Titans. Because now your Doom is going to be spec'd into these
Radiant's middle
auras.
tower
He's not
is
going to have a
under
lot of
attack.
solo kill potential, and you're going to be just playing catch up for the rest of the game from this, to True Strike. They're going to be the ones who are dictating the pace around the map. The Medusa, I believe she even had an Eagle song, so she's closing in on the butterfly. As soon as that butterfly is up, time's going to be up on the map. True Strike's going to group up, and they're going to start pressuring objectives. Titans, recognizing this, are going to go for a smoke.
Dire are scanning.
Bottom lane, it feels like they want to fight into the Sand King. Let's see how this goes. They'll start with the Solar Bind. Who is losing a lot of his health. Turns with the BKB and the Bloodstone. No Butter Strike because it is on cooldown. There's the hook shot though. They're controlling the Sand King. Do they have something to stop the epicenter? He's being knocked about with the cogs. He will burrow out. Channels the epi in the trees and wants to turn. Doesn't have the Bloodstone, mind you. Does a little bit of damage. Mystic Snake stolen by Pistol. What can he do with this? The Doom is available. Boo is dropping low. Will manage to burrow out. Boo Strike on the ledge is low. Drops the chain first. Doom on the LC. So no duel to work with. Just a bunch of right clicks. True Strike, they messed up this fight in my opinion. And the LC is going to fall first. They lose the Lich as well. Decent Butter Strike coming out from Boo. Stolen by Pistol. Returns it. Pistol with the 3-man Butter Strike. What can they find? Not all that much because Doom, AM and Pistol hit the deck. The AIM's bought back with a Battle Fury. Zenero is tipping him. That's straight up a BM tip as now he's hunting for more. Here comes the AM with a Battle Fury, threads an Orb of Corrosion at 22 minutes and it might just be enough. But there's Boo with the Butter Strike, buying time for his Sand King. Another Chakra Magic. Reduce the cooldown, get the kill, make the AM look half decent, half competent, and that they'll do. Boo press the attack, gets a little bit of regen, and now they can tell the duel's there. But the hook shot, oh, it's not enough to save the Clockwork. Pulled back after his hook shot. He's going to end up falling. And Master Instinct, illuminate after illuminate, trying to shine a light on what's been a very dark mid-game, can only watch as he has to retreat as well.
I mean, you bought back on the AM, you got a bunch of XP, but I don't know if that was worth it at all. I mean, that felt so painful for the side of the Titans. You lose your AM once, you lose practically all your heroes. The only survivor is going to be the Cottle, and I don't know if this Cottle is going to be able to hold the game. I mean, that was as bad as it gets here for the side of the Titans. It started off okay-ish, right? Sure, you didn't really get the drop on any of the heroes, but the LC is doomed up. There's, a lot of different things happening. And I feel like as time goes on, it's... you can't afford to be taking these sorts of fights as the Titans, because then you're just throwing the game away. You need to find a better jump. You need to get on top of the Medusa in one go and take her down. There's no real saves available on the side of True Strike, just a bunch of counter initiations. So you really want to get those BKBs up on the side of the Titans if you can, and that's what's going to win you the game. The same buyback though, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it. I mean, this is very Anna from OG from TI8. But I don't see it. I'm sorry.
Yep, me neither. I feel like this is fairly rough here for the side of the Titans still. And even though it looked okay, it's gonna be a while before the Titans can really make a comeback. That said though, I feel like True Strike hasn't really taken advantage of these situations. They're just smoking up time and time again, and they don't really have enough networks to make these smokes work properly, so I feel like they're not exploiting the map they're getting.
Yeah, I mean, this time though, they've been a bit shell-shocked after that fight.
Radiant's
24
bottom
minutes
tower
in,
is under attack.
there's not much of a network deficit between either one of these teams. The AM is starting to catch up, Floki, and that is the good news for the Titans. That eventually this AM will farm and hopefully he becomes useful.
From the corner.
Zona goes in, they find the Doom onto the Sand King. They should be able to bring him down. He's got his BKB, he's running for his life. The Sand King taken out of the fight, should probably end up dying, and there you go. The Sand King dead, the Doom dropping low, quick hook shot coming out from the Clockwork. He's found Black Clock, but he doesn't have too much health. Goggins Grasp, stolen by Pistol, doesn't do all that much, and the rest of True Strike are looking to run. It's a Clockwork for the Sand King, but the Medusa dropping low on mana, should end up falling. The AM's done his work, he's done God's work. In fact, his Zenero dies, and now Black Clock, the last one to exit the crime scene, will have a very sorry tale to report as 4 of his teammates died, and all they found was the Clockwork.
Yeah, this has to be I mean, one of the weirder fights that True Strike have taken. Again, the fight that they took previously, completely under vision of the Titans, end up losing this. This one as well, the opening, look at this, so beautiful. Vision from the Cortal Illuminate, Doom straight up on the Sand King, cannot heal, cannot fight back, slow death, and in fact, the Anti-Mage sort of goes in. I don't even know where the hell this Medusa ended up losing all her mana from. It's just outrageous. Some really poor positioning coming out from the side of True Strike here to lose them the fight.
Yeah. I mean, it's also a very weird place to fight, right? They're fighting behind a tier 2.
Yeah.
Under a tier 2, where the Titans have a little bit more armor and HP region to work with. Your Sand King is doomed at the beginning of the fight. There is no oh, jeez.
Yikes.
There's way little to make True Strike look useful once the Sand King is dead. It feels like he's trying to redeem himself. Goes in, gets up the epi. Oh, this is a big streak. This is a huge streak for them, Floki. There's nearly 1,400 gold. Batman, but 1,300 odd that they end up finding. They needed that kill, they needed that streak, and they'll finally have it. Boo is gone for his BKB along with the Bloodstone. Doesn't have a blink just yet. Of course, the fights get better for True Strike once he has a blink. But it's an AM Doom lineup, and now the AM is scaling.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. This Medusa, I feel like she did not make hay while the sun shone, and the sun shine, excuse me. Not sure if shone is even a word, but Medusa, she hasn't done enough to get ahead in this game, and now I feel like the tables have turned again. Titans, even though they end up losing Master Instinct over here, look at the way they're farming the map. They're all spread out, they're all getting net worth in different parts, and True Strike, they just don't have the vision. They have 2 cores showing it on the same lane. What the hell are they doing? Jeez, a lot of mistakes being made here by both teams, but in the end, if you just have the late game draft and the game happens to go long enough, then yeah, it is going to be Titans who come out on top. The Cortal even buying out, I'm curious to see what he's picked up. And Shiva's now finished up here for the Sand King, which means he's going to have more power in these fights. But again, he's not the guy who's going to take down the AM. That has to be the Medusa.
Yeah, it's got to be the Medusa. It's got to be a duel of one of the either. And I just want to point out something, Floki. It's a bit ridiculous that neither one of these teams has considered taking the Tormentor.
Yeah, that's a little surprising to me as well. 28 minutes in, no Tormentor being taken down. Perhaps it's because the shards on either side aren't the best, but even then I feel like just, you know, just take it anyway. If it's not going to cost you much, just make that rotation, make it happen.
Hold up. The Titans have good shards, actually.
The Titans do, but I feel like
I just feel like there's just like a lack of like what they need to be doing on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lack of awareness, yeah, of how the map should be played. I agree. And now, I mean, you get in this weird spot if you're True Strike, right? Because you're not too sure if you can take the right fight, but you gotta try anyway. You gotta hope that you run into the AM and
that smoke was spotted. That smoke was spotted.
Doomed up, full stuff.
Yeah, they've got a full stuff to keep the Medusa alive. Can they punish though? Can True Strike punish? They're trying to keep vision on the Doom. The AA trying to slow him down. Goggles Frost. Ice Blast. Awkward.
Oh! He missed!
He was
had the shot! Oh!
No!
Yeah, that just happened. Okay, well, I don't think that warrants a replay. I hope our production is kind enough to not show that again, because my oh my, that was a goof up of monumental proportions, but perhaps this one can redeem them for it. The Bottle Strike in, coming in from the Sand King. Pasol quick to steal it and get the hell out with the 4-staff and a Bottle Strike off his own. So, all in all, not a bad exchange, but the LC is in. There's the jump.
Yeah, I mean, the use was there from Pasol buying time for the clockwork, but there's Boo with the Bottle Strike. They won't get the dual damage, but they'll get the kill. And yeah, the Medusa shows up as well. Just there for moral support. I don't think this is earth-shattering objective, but they can force Titans to maybe take a bad fight, maybe force a reaction from them. Master Instinct is split pushing, so is the AM, and True Strike, they're quite committed to this mid lane.
Yeah.
They haven't got anyone just yet with the boots of travel, unlike the Keeper of the Light on the side of the Titans. And yeah, Cortal comes back. At the end of it all, the AM and the Cortal, none of them really managed to secure an objective. True Strike, they get the mid tier 2. They should look towards the outpost. They should look towards playing top and controlling that part of the map.
And yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised that Zanero has actually cured up the Lincoln Sphere. He thinks that's what's going to save him this game, but I don't know if I agree with that itemization. There's going to be a Rubik just looking to pop that Linkings, being sneaky and just trying to set up the fight for his team. So a little surprised about that. I do think
that is true. I mean, the Doom can also find a creep that helps him do that.
Strangely enough, I feel like a Silver Edge might actually be a really good item because that way you open up the AM to take all that magic damage, and you also have some form of disengage, maybe force the side of Titans to have a dust on them. You know, I mean, just a thought. Or maybe the Hurricane Pike, I don't know. But I feel like you need something that isn't Lincoln Sphere or BKB. I don't feel like those two items solve any of your problems this game, if you're the Medusa.
He's gone for a Deadless.
Oh.
And they've gotten the Tormentor.
That makes sense. Yeah, more damage is fine. You can always add on to it. And, well, okay. That's going to be 108 bonus damage courtesy of the shot coming through for the LC, who had a really good start, but for some reason hasn't been scaling all that well of late, sitting 3,000 gold behind the Doom on the side of the Titans. But even the Doom himself not doing as well as he would like. Typically, you'd expect the Doom to be at least 20k net worth by this point, just because of how that hero works. But I guess because of the facet and also the fact that he built all those auras, he hasn't really been able to scale as well as he would have liked. Oh well, 2 Rosh they go. Getting the Sages, it's going to be very, very crucial in setting up the next few minutes here for True Strike, because that is going to enable them to go high ground. You goof up there if you're the Titans, and it's the Jugular on the line. They will find a tier 2 tower up top for a trade, but I think the side of True Strike will take that any day of the week. Sand King a bit too early to the fight. BKB is out, has got the Shiva's Guard for now, but will most certainly end up falling. The AM hot on his tail, the LC jumps in with the duel. They found the Doom, but the Doom already dropped his spells. Does he care? Nope, not really, not all that much. Medusa with the stone, yes, catches no one. And so far, 1-for-1 exchange. Sand King falls and so does the Doom. But now for Soul going back in, good 2-bad bounce strike. There's the Name coming through, and now the hook shot as well. Good gods on the 3 heroes, and it's gonna be the side of Titans cleaning up shop on True Strike. As the Ancient Apparition also got down, the dust is going to be there. Todoroki, he bought back early on in the game and was getting tipped, but now it's the Titans who are returning the tip straight to True Strike, and it's going to be a rampage for the anti-mage here as Titans clean up shop, and True Strike, they've got nothing. Not nit, nada.
Great stuff coming up from Pasol, as well as the clockwork there. And I personally, the Sand King really needs to take this moment to introspect and look back as to why the hell was he so far ahead from the rest of his team. It was really unnecessary, and after the Doom kill, all of them just grouping up like that. I mean, Quick, he's probably hit only 2 or 3 hook shots this game, but that was a hook shot they needed. With that, they're going to get a lane of Rax. The Medusa takes a fight with the Aegis, and even then ends up losing.
Yeah, I mean, that was... gotta say, that's not really all that great here for the side of True Strike. I mean, come on, man. That is such a cacophony of errors coming through from them. You just took the Aegis, but your Sand King, he TPs in. He TPs in so early.
Yeah.
And sure, the Ice Blast is great, but where's the follow-up? The Medusa, she's just stuck somewhere, channeling a bloody Gorgon's Grasp. And it's just not dealing damage in the meantime. I mean, sure, you killed the Doom, but Doom's been put out, the AM is disengaged, and you are just now caught in no man's land. Ah, man oh man. Again, this is just sort of what happens when you pick up Medusa without banning out the AM. We spoke about this during the draft. You cannot just pick this hero 4th phase when there's 2 bans and you know 2 picks remaining. It just doesn't work that way. Well, Hail Mary attempt coming here from True Strike, and we'll see if it connects. They're gonna have to put a lot of work if they wanna try and win this one, and it's gonna have to start with the Kotl and the Doom falling or the AM dying.
I mean, the Sand King needs to ensure that he doesn't get doomed. That is really crucial. The other problem that True Strike are running into is, well, they need True Strike now, quite literally, because the AM has his butterfly complete. So, personally, I'm just leaning completely towards the Titans taking their next fight. The Doom has been spot on. Master Instinct is a very slippery character. There's a Wind Waker in the mix, and there you go. There's the AM blinking in, not a fear in the world. The Ancient Apparition, well, he hits his Ice Blast, doesn't quite connect. The Lich tries his best. The Gorgon's Grasp doesn't do much. And now you go there towards the LC. In the cogs, trying to win a duel, losing it badly. The duel ends, no damage done. The epicenter, well, it's laughable at best. It is doing damage towards Master Instinct, and that should be enough. True Strike find the kill, they look for more. Pasul dropping low, will end up falling. A double kill for Zenero. It's now the Medusa's time to look good on stream as he now turn towards Zonok. The hook shot there, but is there any follow-up? AM in the cogs looks towards the Lich, and that Mana Void single-handedly shuts down True Strike. This might just be the beginning of the end. The Doom is dropping low, but the AM is still very much a factor with his Butterfly. Does he want to go in? Does the Clockwork escape? No, he won. Boo's there with the Burrow Strike. The Clockwork dead. 4 dead for the side of the Titans. They had a 14,000 net worth lead before that, Floki, and now it's down to 9.
Oh man, this game has been so long and so hard fought for both these teams. I mean, silly dropped goof ups aside, I feel like both of these teams are really trying their best to not give the other one the W. But man, oh man, again, beautiful fight starting out here from the side of True Strike. Again, this is what you want. You want the Gottle to die. You want the Doom to just kind of feel useless. Sure, Pasul, I mean, Pasul also ends up getting caught out, but the AM found the principal kill, excuse me. And with that said, yeah, the principal skill being the Mana Void. But with that said, I feel like the LC, if this game goes long enough, is going to be in a position to carry. You give a couple more duels, give her some more damage, and she can be the one to make up for the deficit of, well, the AM Medusa matchup.
The LC has an ATOS.
I believe that's to break Lincoln's. I mean, you could also go Gleipnir. I mean, hey, you need to catch the Gottle, right? So might as well get that Gleipnir.
It's weird though. This game is so weird. Like logically, the Titans should win. But logic goes out of the question when it comes to these teams and this region and their style of Dota.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, the Sand King has an Axe. It's like if the Sand King now with his blink and his Axe, if he hits an epi on the Cottle or the Rubik or the Doom, it is really going to turn the fight. And another very crucial factor for the side of the Titans is the Rubik. Like, Pasul cannot end up dying that early.
Yeah, Pasul needs to survive some of these fights so he can steal some of those more impactful spells.
Absolutely.
Turn this around, but there's such a big problem here for the side of True Strike. I mean, the top lane is shoving in. They haven't got vision anywhere on the map except this little area down bottom. They're trying to play over here and catch or maybe bait someone out into a bad jump and fighting into their vision, but Titans are just not taking the bait. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna stand tall. The tower, tier 4 almost ends up dropping, and I feel like at this point you need to go back and defend if you're True Strike, shove out these lanes and wait for the fight that is to come. The calm before the storm.
It feels like True Strike are prepping for Roshan, right? Like they're trying to set up around the Rosh pit, get control of that part of the map, and logically, like, I mean, you have Aegis, it is easier for you to look for objectives and fights across the map. But now that they pop their glyph, this is a very questionable glyph in my opinion. I mean, that, check the replays, check the logs, because that glyph wasn't needed. Boost Strike in the middle of nowhere gets hexed, but gets forced off as well.
Yeah, the LC wasn't there to take advantage of that. A little unfortunate. Could have been close though. Could have been True Strike maybe even winning the fight. And again, I mean, this is sort of the problem. True Strike, you can start to see it in the way they're playing. They seem a little disjointed. Sure, the LC, she's gone a little ham, she's bought herself an ATOS, but even then I can see a good reason for it. You know, Gleipnir, it pops BKBs, and also Gleipnir is just such a good item to catch some of these more slippery heroes like the Rubik and the Cottle on the side of Titans that I can honestly understand why she's going for it.
Yeah,
but
also she's got the shard, right? So she's got the Gleipnir as well as the increased overwhelming odds radius because of the shard. So I mean, for whatever it's worth, she can do a bunch of damage very quickly if the Sand King gets off a decent bounce. Like, there she goes with the Mindbreaker.
Oh, no.
AM's got the Manta though.
Wait,
Mindbreaker doesn't.
Yeah, and that's gonna be
that's
well,
a
the third
miss.
spell. No, but the duel was cast, but it was blocked, and I think that might have been the AM not going for the counter spell. Yeah, going for the mana thirst hazard.
I just need to address chat that, guys, there is a giveaway. For that giveaway, you need to look at the QR and you need to pay attention to game number 2 as well. So you need to stick around for the entire stream because a part of the giveaway has something to do with game number 2. I'm not fully aware of it, but I believe there's a monitor and other goodies by MSI that are being given away. So do hang around, do watch game 2 and look at the QR once again closer to game 2. There are admins in chat. They should be able to help you out as well.
Yeah. I mean, this, you know, with the giveaway, put aside for a moment here, I have to mention this, you know, the LC, there's no reason why this hero should have been this poor. They had a really good start on her. They could have kept playing for tempo, but somewhere or the other, they dropped the ball. They took a few awkward fights. They didn't really make good use of all the space they had. And Titans, all they did was they just sit back and farmed. And now they're here, 15k net worth, up a set of racks, waiting out for the next Aegis. This game, it was in control of True Strike. They let go of the wheel. They let go of the driver's seat. And now the game, well, it's not in their hands anymore. It's going to be down to Titans to make a monumental goof up of sorts. And when they do, that's when True Strike can come back in this game. But I feel like that's not going to happen. It's not even a when, it's an if.
Interesting. So you're ruling out True Strike coming back into this game?
Entirely. I feel like there's no way that True Strike can actually come back in this game if they give away the Aegis. They can, but it's going to be very hard fought, and I don't feel like they are going to learn how to play these fights super well within just one, within the span of one fight. Well, we're going to find out soon enough, because it seems like they did smoke up on the side of True Strike.
I mean, the Observer's been really spot on. I'd love to take a look at True Strike and their buybacks, if they have any. I don't think they have any, and it's also going to be interesting to see how the Titans approach high ground, right? Because, I mean, sure, you have AM, and AM can hit the building. It's got the Aegis, but it's not that straightforward versus an Ancient Apparition, versus Sand King, versus a Legion Commander. So they're going to smoke, and they're going to try and sneak in through the lane, which has no tower. It's different. It's been done. It's risky.
Yeah.
Who gets the jump going? They're sitting around this creep wave. The AM will be the first one to break his smoke. LC shows up. LC gets lifted. The AM follows up. They should get the LC. The Sand King's there with the bonus strike. LC pops the BKB, turns towards the Doom. Quick defensive Wind Waker, keeping the Doom alive. Epicenter committed. LC dead. What's Boo going to really do with this? I don't know. I mean, they trade off-laner for off-laner. The LC buys back the AM, not really joining this fight. And now, well, I think Quick's dead as well. So the high ground attempt, or whatever you want to call that, didn't really work. The strats look cool in Western Europe, but not here.
Yeah, certainly not. I mean, a little bit of a weird initiation. I mean, there was a buyback coming in from the LC, so I'm not going to take away all credit from Titans, but yeah, they perhaps lost a little bit more than they should have, and that's courtesy of the beautiful Ice Blast coming in from the Apparition. Titans, they made that play. They had to be quick about the jump. They needed to quickly burst down the LC. They goofed up, they lost two. That's how that goes. But I don't know if taking the Tormentor now, even though it's good, it's going to make that much of a difference. I feel like what you really need to do on True Strike is start to find, you know, start to give this Medusa room to pick up that Rapier. That's the only way you're going to win this game now, if at all, on the side of True Strike. You need the Rapier, you need the MKB. Yes. I mean, who deals the damage? I mean, sure, you've got a Sand King and everything, but I just don't see True Strike winning out these fights. There's just way too many defensive items.
Win probability says it's still close, though.
I guess that's just the Medusa effect. Just the fact that you can buy a Rapier and win a fight.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, okay, you know what? I actually take some of what I said back, because I looked at the Cortal's items and I saw a level 5 Hex and a Dig. The only defensive item that guy has is a Lincoln Sphere. He didn't even buy the BKB. So okay, maybe there's still some room over here for True Strike to find the perfect initiation. But man, how are you going to reach the Cortal and pop that Lincoln's with spell on the side of True Strike is going to do that? I don't feel like there's an answer. I feel like it's going to be Sand King out there alone trying to take down the Scortle. You really need a good solid Ice Blast on top of the Keeper of the Light to try and win it out, and that's assuming the aim is not going to jump in and destroy your backlines in the meantime.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, it's tricky for them to reach the Kotal. You're looking at the Kotal as somebody that can really turn the fight for the Titans. I agree. They have a minute, though, on the Aegis, on this anti-mage, and for now, roughly a minute. But now it looks as if they're just going to group up and start pushing down lanes. I think what tends to happen to teams from South Asia is that if they're not finding that tier 3 objective rather easily, they do get frustrated with themselves. The less experienced teams. The AM does, jumps in, brings down the AA. That's a huge mana void, and now he's man fighting the LC. The LC dropping low, no buyback, dead for 105 seconds. The Ancient Apparition buys back, decent Ice Blast, but there is a BKB on the dupe. The AM, though, unfortunately caught in that Ice Blast, will end up falling. They've dealt with the AM, but that's just the Aegis. Clockwork goes in with a hook shot. He's found one. It is the Medusa. Zenero, without any mana, dead, and the mana void of his lifetime from Todoroki will ensure that he gets himself a rampage. Master Instinct chimes in with a kill, but finally the AM dies. Buyback after buyback from the Sand Kick, and the Medusa will give True Strike a fighting chance in this game. The Lich there with the buyback as well. Boo moving forward. The Sandstorm there. Quick will throw his body forward, try and sacrifice his life. Boo Strike doesn't quite catch anybody else. Buybacks coming out from the Titans as the AM goes back in, wants the Sand King, but the Sand King there with the bottom strike will manage to disengage, get a little bit of distance. Zenero gets himself a double kill as the crits are there for Soul. Then the Rubik will also buy back as Titans want to end this game right here, right now. Zonak dropping low, Quick Frost Shield there on the Sand King, but another brilliant hook shot from Quick should set up for True Strike, or rather for the side of Titans to close this game right here, as it's a full 5-man team wipe. Todoroki, Pasol, and the others have done it.
Oh man, what a beautiful game coming out here from the side of Titans. I mean, even though that was a rough and hard-fought win, it has to be morally worth it, because your AM fought back, your early game was looking like absolute crap, but they somehow managed to pull it back against the LC, who's having a good time, against the Sand King, who had free farm, who had probably one of the best early games I've seen in quite a while, and Titans somehow managed to get it done.
From the AM. I mean, 19 minutes, and he just completed his Battle Fury, but eventually he did enough, and more than enough, to single-handedly take his team to the next stage of the MSI Gaming Arena qualifier. What a man.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff coming out from Todoroki. The mental resilience is there. He's got the mind of a much older carry, of a much older gentleman, and that is the kind of perseverance you need if you're going to play that role. Because all the other 5 people, they're out to get you. The enemy carry, the enemy pose 4, the enemy pose 5. Everybody has a smile on their face when they ruin the enemy carry's day. But you gotta hang in there. And you know what? Even though Todoroki, even though he made a lot of mistakes in the early game, he did not violate that principle. He kept calm, he kept farming, and eventually the matchup worked in his favor, and they're able to close out the game. Beautiful stuff coming out from the side of Team Titans. Even though there were goof-ups, even though there are things that they need to correct, again, just, morally a good victory. I feel like they shouldn't be too hard on themselves. Today, they can save that for tomorrow.
Absolutely. Great stuff coming out from the Titans. They're going to progress to the next stage of the tournament. Those of you just tuning in, this is the MSI Gaming Arena, powered by MSI, along with NVIDIA and Intel. We do have giveaways, folks, so there will be QR codes appearing on our screens at certain moments, and you need to stick around and watch Game 1 as well as the entirety of Game 2 to actually take part in that giveaway. So do hang around and do keep your eyes peeled for the QR codes. They'll tend to be coming in between games. A surprise, maybe during a game, but for now, let's look back at the highlights. Floki.
Oh man. So many mistakes in this game, but this fight, one of the biggest mistakes that True Strike made was not checking that cliff for vision. They took this fight, and you can see the Titans, they're just kiting this fight out. Even though Todoroki is gonna end up dying here, over time, it is gonna be Titans who end up winning this fight. A big victory, yes, but a victory nonetheless. I mean, you can see it right here. Master Instinct, kudos to this man for somehow surviving all this time. And in fact, if Master Instinct died, that AM buyback would have looked a lot different. But again, the second jump in, they were all smoked despite the ward being there. They get the vision from the Kotal Blast. The Sand King gets doomed up. And yeah, you're just diving a tier 2. So the Medusa loses almost all her mana. And now you can't stand and fight if you're True Strike. Beautiful stuff. Again, just coming out from Titans. Even though they made a couple of mistakes in the early game and even in team fights, I feel like their understanding of how they're supposed to take these fights and how to punish the enemy for their mistakes was spot on.
Yeah. And it all boils down to the draft, Loki. I mean, you called it, and we was kind of. I mean, I tried to permit this very early Medusa pick.
And it almost worked. I mean, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it almost worked.
I feel like there were chances. I feel like the Medusa didn't really make good use of all the space that. Well, I want to say all the space that True Strike were making, but I feel like True Strike actually weren't really making all that space because the Sand King was farming, the Legion Commander was also chilling in the meantime, and the Medusa was the one getting pressured. So, if anything, it feels like strategically True Strike, they weren't really making all the plays. I mean, we did expect them to come out more explosively. We were expecting there to be double blink daggers, but it was instead the Bloodstone, and it was instead the BKB as the weapon of choice. And sure, you're surviving all of these fights as the Sand King, but you're not really killing anyone. And if you're not catching anyone, and if you're not really killing anyone on the Sand King, what are you really doing on that hero, right? Like, that's sort of the question. Because now your Medusa, she just looks like a headless chicken. You've got this AM creating so many problems. And mind you, there were 2 rampages here for Todoroki in this game, and that is after he bought back. So, yeah, even though this game was, fairly hard for the anti-mage, the fact that he just kept his level head and made sure that he was not too bothered by this is one of the bigger reasons behind why Titans won. Because at any point, this AM could have tilted out, could have not kept his head in the game, but his team was making space for him. They were doing their best to make sure that the AM had a good time. And you know what? Ultimately, the AM did. He did have a good time. He carried the game. He carried the team. And that's sort of what you have to go back and look at if you're True Strike. You want to look at this replay and ask yourself, how did the side of Titans enable their carry, and what can we learn from them to make sure that we can apply those principles in our game next time around? Because had they done that, that game would have been in favor of True Strike. But it wasn't.
And that's our MVP, Loki. I think this is. I mean, we don't need to debate this at all. It was Todoroki through after the very difficult start, and it's something that he needs to look at later on. His late phase was rough, but he carried his team at the end of it all.
Oh yeah, he definitely did. He was the guy who kept his head in the game and made sure that his team stayed afloat even in some of those, well, let's just say, turbulent times. There were a few questionable moments in that game, but regardless, they still managed to pull through. So kudos to them. And really shout out to Todoroki for just keeping his head in the game. I mean, that's a hell of a XP per minute to be having, and a hell of a GPM to be having after you bought back in the game and after your Battle Fury was finished at 19 minutes. Just, yeah, really cool coming out from him.
Yeah,
47.
and the lower of the name Todoroki also actually suits him interestingly. It in essence means opposites, like fire and ice. It's obviously, it goes without saying, it's from an anime, but I quickly looked up the etymology of that word in Japanese, and in an essence it means opposites, and that pretty much explains his laning phase and then his mid game. Polar opposites, but true to his name, he's done his job. Pusol also really stepping up in the damage department. Very heads up play, getting that early Wind Waker along with the first half. I really like the itemization. The supports on the side of True Strike, although their spellcasting was spot on, I really wish that, in these team fights, they had a little bit better spacing in general.
And I feel like they need another 4-star on the side of True Strike. If they had that.
It's not just that. I mean, like, Clockwork cannot be hitting 2 hero clogs so easily multiple times with both.
Yeah, actually, yeah, now that you mention
like
it, I just
Lich and AA cannot be positioning themselves like that continuously. So I feel like their positioning is what could definitely be improved upon. The Legion Commander, after getting off to a great start, really kind of fell off in terms of scaling with regards to net worth. That's also an aspect of the game, because if you just look at the net worth right now, Pusol is almost there, up there with you in terms of net worth, and
Yeah.
that shouldn't be the case for your position 3, right? You want your position 3 to keep scaling.
Oh yeah, and I mean, he had all the all the necessities. He had all the prerequisites for it too. It's just that there was a lack of a unified vision on the side of True Strike. That is what I chalk it up to. And they were confused about who's actually going to be carrying the game. So the Medusa never really got the space that she needed. And even though she found all of these items and her net worth was up there, it wasn't enough because it just wasn't in time. All that net worth came after the AM was farmed. Had it been before the AM was farmed, completely different game.
Absolutely.
But yep, I mean, if I want to give a shout out to anyone in this game, it is going to be Pasol and Master Instinct on that Kotl, because regardless of whatever happened in the game, those two guys, they kept a level head and their spellcasting and their play was flawless. It was genuinely flawless. I don't think we've seen such a strong performance coming out on a Rubik in the Indian Dota scene in such a long time. I feel like he was responsible for saves, for kills, so many different things. Just beautiful stuff coming out by him.
Absolutely. Great stuff coming out from him. We've got one more match coming up, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not quite sure if we have more time to talk about this game. But yeah, all in all, Floki, great stuff coming out from the Titans. And yeah, really excited to see how far they go in this tournament. A lot of stuff that needs improving if they're hoping to represent South Asia later on. But yeah, a decent start, I guess.
Oh yeah, really good stuff for them, but I think we're going to be cutting to a break for a short while, after which we will come back with game number 2, so stay tuned, and yeah, we'll see you on the other side in a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the MSI Gaming Arena. My name is Vivek. With me is Floki, and we just saw Team Titans knock out True Strike from the semi-finals. We've got our next semi-finals, however, coming up. It's India's favorite, one of India's favorites. No Chance playing for Team Whoops versus Rogue Squad. So this should be a rather interesting matchup, Floki. I think it should be a closer one as well.
Yeah, I feel like closer one, I don't know. I mean, yeah, on paper, yes, I would agree, but I feel like I'm not too sure. I feel like this match, it might just end up being a complete stomp in Whoops' favor. It might end up being really even. It's weird because that's always been the way with some games of this team, right? Because there have been times where we've seen them do really well in the early game, but then slow things down, and then there are times you've seen them close out the game in less than 25 minutes, and you don't know which Whoops you're gonna get today. It's like there's two different teams in one. You know, maybe there's one that everyone's woken up alert, ready to play, or maybe they're just looking to win this match. Not going too hard on themselves. Maybe the match gets a little bit closer than they like, but eventually they cross the finishing line, albeit with less grace than they would have preferred, but cross the finish line anyway, right? So. I don't know which side of Whoops we're gonna get, but if I had to hedge my bets, I would bet on them closing this one out early, actually.
Yeah, I think it boils down to the draft, of course, and generally No Chance does close out games a little bit early. Rogue Squad does again have a lot of newer faces, so yeah, No Chance with his experience should be able to close this one. And speaking of these newer faces, we've got the lineups on our screen. This is Rogue Squad for you. Other than Abhi or ABH1, I'm not able to put a face to any of these names.
Well, I remember Playstyle from another tournament. I also remember ABH1, but yeah, I don't remember any of these other names either. I don't know who Shek Chili is, I don't know who Blitzkaiser or Peep is, and it's gonna be fun to find out what these players are capable of, I mean, ABH1 on the position 5, not something I was expecting to see. Perhaps a page out of Toronto Tokyo's book, you go from playing the mid lane to playing position 5. Does it really work? Maybe it does, maybe it does not. But let's have a look at the player cams and let's put the faces to the names. So, the one on the top right is Playstyle, and I believe ABH1 is the one in the bottom left. The rest of them, I'm not too sure. One of them is, in fact, even sideways. So if Spider-Man's watching this broadcast, he's gonna be A-okay.
Yeah. How thoughtful. Inclusive broadcasts. Like, even your favorite superhero, Spider, whatever. Well, this broadcast is also in his favored orientation.
Yeah, but...
no one on the side of Team Whoops, though, is unfamiliar. But what's a pleasant surprise is to see Archmage come back after all these years. I didn't know that Archmage is still playing. Like, I thought man has moved on in life and he has left the Dota scene. But
nah, he's still here, alive and kicking, and he's playing this one. So this might be a bit of a one-off thing, though. I do think he is retired, but perhaps, sometimes you get a call from an old friend to join in, and you can start to see everyone on Whoops. You can count the teeth on their faces. Everyone out here with a wide smile. That's going to be Archmage on the top left, HBK in the middle. The one in bottom left is No Chance, and I believe that is Pinkman on the bottom right.
Yeah. And on the top right is a little bit of modern expressionistic art, in case you're bored of people.
That's MNZ.
There's also an art exhibition that's been thoughtfully curated by MNZ. And there you go, there's MNZ peeking into the art exhibition.
Oh, yeah. Well, and he's off once again. Yeah, I mean, you can see that the spirits are really, really high on the side of Team Whoops. I mean, we're laughing so much because we know these guys personally, and just to give you guys a little bit of an inside scoop, everybody over there right now is berating MNZ for not showing his face. That's the deal. I mean, all these players, they are sort of shy, and MNZ, he's the shyest of the bunch right now. The reason they're laughing is because MNZ was a little bit too afraid to show his face. But you know what? That's okay. Camera anxiety is very, very real, as every broadcaster knows, but you know what? If you tune in, you're gonna stand to win a couple of prizes, because if you scan this QR code, you stand a chance to enter the giveaway. And you know, if you stay tuned in to the end of the stream, you're gonna be a participant and you're gonna stand to win some fantastic prizes. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned in. Make sure you scan this QR code as well. And yeah, keep supporting the stream and keep tuning in. And who knows what you might walk away with. I certainly don't. Vivek, have you done this so far? Is it okay if we do this?
I don't know. I haven't had the chance to. Should I scan the QR code on stream? I don't know. But they're goodies, they're giveaways. And guys, you can only stand a fair chance to win what's at stake here if you hang around for the entirety of Game 2. And let me promise you, Game 2 should be fun.
Oh yeah, Game 2 is gonna be fun one way or the other. I mean, we're seeing the return of, some would say, a prodigious mid player from India who showed a lot of promise once, but eventually decided that the game was not something that he wanted to pursue professionally anymore. So, you know, fair enough, he switched, but now a call from an old friend is all that it takes for him to step back into the scene. So we'll see what Archmage can dish out. We also have a couple of new players coming in, be it HBK or MNZ. So if you're someone who's tuning in, say, after 5 years of deep slumber in Dota, well, these guys are fairly high-ranked players and probably in the top, I would say, top 5 Indian players on the leaderboard right now. So yeah, this is definitely a very high skill stack.
Archmage coming back is a little bit like, I don't know how to put it. It's a little bit like ZSMJ or Burning coming back, or any one of the Wings players. It's borderline Faith Beyond kind of thing. Because I literally casted his last game and his last play in that last game, and I remember it just as if it were yesterday. Man was playing Ember Spirit, drops a Remnant behind, drops a Remnant ahead, defending tier 3, Remnants ahead and dies. Team loses game. Archmage quits Dota.
That is, oh my god, that is brutal. That is painful. I don't even remember this game myself, but man,
No,
yeah, that happened to me. I would quit Dota as well. I wasn't there. Yeah.
I don't know if that's why he quit, but that's what happened.
I mean, yeah, that's sort of, sure, man. That is rough though. But hey, chance for redemption, you know. Maybe if this game goes well and if they're able to qualify for this one, he stands a chance to, you know, play at the playoffs, you know, end up getting some prize money and redeem us for his sins, you know. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do here in India if you can perform out there in Southeast Asia against the best Southeast Asian teams, and that's what these guys are looking to do. These guys want to make a splash, they want to have an impact, they want to draw attention back to Indian Dota, and that's why they're still playing. So as far as that goes, we'll see how far the side of Team Whoops can go, but first, the first opponent that they're gonna have to take down is gonna have to be Rogue Squad. I would have liked to talk a lot more about Rogue Squad, but unfortunately, we just don't have enough data on the team. That's partly because I'm only aware of 2 of the players, and I've met the 2 of them personally, and I don't think I've even met ABH1, to be honest. I feel like I've only seen
him on our Discord.
Yeah, I've seen him on the Discord. I haven't really met him outside of that. I've met Playstyle in real life, and I can tell you that he's a great guy. But you know what? Let's leave the speculation aside, because we're going to be jumping into the draft and seeing what heroes are getting picked up here. And it's going to be some interesting bans right off the get-go here. Rogue Squad choosing to ban out the Shadow Shaman and the Enchantress. Now, I don't know if I agree with the Shadow Shaman ban. The Tinker ban, it makes some sense to me, but I don't know if it is as good as people are making it out to be. I feel like there are ways of dealing with that hero, but perhaps it's just a comfort thing. Maybe again it's gonna be okay. We can't really ban out all the Gleipnir heroes. So you take your pick, we'll take ours. You know, off the ranged carrion, off the ranged hero, and off we go into the game.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Whoops' bans, it's just on par with the meta. Tinker, sensible, Sniper, makes perfect sense. A Rogue Squad feels like these are much more targeted pub bans. I know Moen doesn't play Enchantress all that much, but the Enchantress ban is okay.
5 seconds
You can call it a fairly meta ban. The Morphling and the PA though, that's the Morphling I get. The PA has Phantom Assassin come back?
I don't know, but it is one of the heroes that MNZ likes to play a lot, so this might even be a targeted ban, just trying to limit his hero pool. And yeah, he also plays a lot of the Morphling. So if anything, this is Rogue Squad saying we're not going to give you your strongest heroes. We're not going to give you the best of what you have. You're going to have to bring your second best, and we'll see who ends up succeeding on that front. And I feel like to that end, Whoops might actually have the edge here. I don't know if MNZ plays Mirana, but I feel like Mirana is not a particularly difficult hero to play. They can pick it up, they can always play it, and there's still the Luna in the pool. So the Luna could also end up being another first pick here for Whoops, just to give them a really strong foundation.
Yeah, it's so weird, Floki, that in the previous game, like Mirana and Wind Ranger both went ignored. Like it's a bit hard to explain.
Dire
Like
team pick.
if you saw this game during TI, you'd probably be wondering like why.
Baffled. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be baffled. And if you look at Whoops' bans, I think we can fully expect them
Radiant
to pick
team
Mirana or Shadow Demon or Sand King or the Wind Ranger. This is a solid opening. I like this.
Yep, Sand King makes perfect sense. I mean, there are answers to this hero, of course. Doom's still in the pool that Rogue Squad can pick up, but the problem is if
10
they
seconds
leave
remaining.
that hero in the mix,
Dire
whoops, they've got
team
two mans coming up ahead, so they can choose to pan out whichever hero they don't want to play against. And again, it seems like a consistent theme here in the Indian leg of the qualifiers. The way the people are preferring to answer the Sand King is with the help of the Rubik. I mean, in theory, it doesn't actually sound bad because you can lift
10
up an ally and
seconds
throw them
remaining.
out of the epicenter even after they get Burrow Striked and Sandstorm and
5
whatnot.
seconds remaining.
But
Dire team ban.
I feel like it hasn't had the type of impact that we would like to see. It's going to be all the other picks coming out from Whoops that augment this Rubik. DK ban from the side of Whoops. Again, a hero that can't survive a strong
10
initiation and
seconds remaining.
turn around and gain all of his HP back if he
Radiant
picks up a
team ban.
Satanic, so no big surprises there. That one, though, is the Shadow Fiend. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I mean Shadow Fiends occasionally being
Radiant team
picked
pick.
on pause one. Spectre Floki. I like the man. It makes sense in a way, depending on what Rogue Squad is going to pick up after this. But yeah, Rubik, Sand King, both fairly reasonable openers. Like you said, the
10
Rubik is something
seconds
new.
remaining.
I want to see where
5
Rogue Squad
seconds
go with their
remaining.
draft from here on. I think like you can reveal something like Monkey King or Tiny at this stage of the draft.
Yeah, I feel like you want to answer the Sand King and then maybe pick up whatever ranged heroes left. I mean, in the trifecta of the Mirana, Luna, Nature's Prophet, or even Lena into the mix for that matter, because
Yep.
she is also a Glycinate hero. All of them fare well against each other. You know, they all have answers, they all have ways of dealing with the other one. It's not like
Yep.
one ranged hero is the trump card for all the other ones. But if I did have the choice, I would like to pick up the Luna. And I think that's what Rogue Squad are debating is do they want to deal with the Sand King first, or do they want to find their ranged
Dire
carry and
team
pick up a Luna and build around it. So okay, they're gonna pick up a very early Abaddon. I mean, this is just one pick in, and Rogue Squad have decided, yeah, we're gonna choose to play this one out defensively. Interesting.
Yeah, I like it. I think this can
Dire
work. I
team
think they have a save. They have the Rubik. It's a solid
Yeah.
opening. And yeah, I mentioned this at the beginning of the draft. We should see Shadow Demon. We should see Mirana. I think we might as well just see Mirana right about now. Like Shadow Demon, Mirana could be the support pairing for Whoops. Is
10
there anything
seconds
else that's
remaining.
particularly good versus the Abaddon?
Not
sure.
really,
5
but I feel
seconds
like
remaining.
I don't know if you want to pick Mirana here, because Mirana would give the Abaddon more purpose in this draft. If anything, you kind of want to make this Abaddon feel useless. I think this might actually be a good, opportune moment to pick up the Luna, because Luna doesn't really care about a Photic Shield or the heals coming out. Luna, she wants your towers, she wants Aegis, she wants objectives. And yeah, maybe you give away Lucent Beam over to the Rubik, and that can be a little annoying, but you've got the Sand King to deal with some of those issues. You know, you're not going to be too worried about a Rubik with a Lucent Beam if you're ahead 20k and you've got 3 auras.
Do you not feel
Radiant
like you're
team
not going to
pick.
get Mirana if you don't pick it now? Anyways, they go with the Clockwork. I agree
Radiant
with where you were
team
coming
pick.
from.
Dire
I like the Clockwork. Get on top of the Abaddon.
Timbersaw.
Neutralize him from the game. Pick up the Timbersaw. Probably going to send him wherever the Sand King goes. Mostly I feel
nah.
now that we see the puck, the Timbersaw is probably heading to the offlane.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I agree with that quick puck pick, because now the Timbersaw is gonna
10
get,
seconds remaining.
well, it's gonna be hard for him to determine where he wants to go. He's
5
probably gonna go in
seconds
the off
remaining.
lane, but now you know that if you're Whoops, and if
Yeah.
you're Whoops, do you still want to pick up the Mirana or the Luna? I mean, that's the question. It's still in the pool. It's still open. It's still great, but maybe it's just a matter of comfort. Maybe it's just a matter of Whoops not wanting to play that hero.
I feel you pick somebody that can clear stacks. You want to be able to clear stacks because you have the Shadow Demon. Now,
And
do you
you've
want
got
to give
Shadow Demon Luna. If you pick it up.
exactly. You got SD Luna, so Luna makes sense. But then there is an issue for Whoops. Okay,
Dire team ban.
it's the fact that they're playing
Radiant team ban.
against a team that's quite mobile.
Yes, and Luna does not like playing into mobile heroes who can get on top of her.
Yep. The Medusa, good at clearing stacks. We saw what happened last game when the Medusa was revealed this early on, but whoops, obviously
10
they banned
seconds
out the
remaining.
anti-mage. So the answer for this Medusa has to come from elsewhere.
5 seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
there's still an Invoker in the mix if they want to pick up, but I feel like if Whoops feel that that's too much
Radiant team
of a problem,
ban.
they can ban it out. I don't know why the Invoker would go for Rogue Squad, and that's sort of the issue. But Invoker being banned out by Rogue Squad themselves, because they feel like they might just have too much
Dire
tempo.
team ban.
And for those of you who don't know, Archmage actually derives his name from Ingenious Archmage, which I believe Archmage was the name or the fun name of Invoker in Dota 1, if I'm not wrong. Because every hero had like so many names, it's
Yeah.
kind of insane. So yeah, I mean,
10
it's
seconds.
no surprise that Archmage
one
is
of
Invoker player.
Invoker's names was Kyle,
5 seconds remaining.
Kael.
Dire team pick.
That's the one I remember. Last pick though for Whoops, Loki. What do you feel they need to fix that draft?
I feel like they just need an offlaner. You've got the mid lane matchup of the Sand King versus the Puck. If they put the Timbersaw there, I don't know what the Puck is going to do in the
Radiant
offlane against the
team pick.
Medusa. They probably pick an offlaner, but no, they instead go for the Void Spirit, and they're going to put the Sand King in the offlane, which is a little weird in my opinion. I don't feel like you really want to do that if you're Whoops this early, because now the Sand King can
10
be
seconds
punished
remaining.
somewhat.
Absolutely. You could pick something like a Monkey
5
King or a.
seconds remaining.
I mean, even a Razor or a Slark and like life could be problematic for the Sand King.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I know this sounds a little bit crazy, but maybe even a Leshrac position 1? I mean, I know he's not really...
I was thinking about the Leshrac. In a sense, he's good against the Void Spirit, depending on what facet the Void Spirit takes. It's a bit of a tricky game for the Leshrac. There is a case for him though. Look, you can fight. You do not. You need pure right click. You don't want to go Drow.
I feel like you either need to answer the Medusa or you need to get a hero that enables you to take these fights early on. Can you pick up the Luna yourself? if you're Rogue
Diffusal
Squad?
Blade Gyro.
Diffusal Blade Gyro. No, I feel like there's a much simpler answer, and I feel like the answer is Luna, even though it's playing into the Sand King and the Shadow Demon. If they pair the Abaddon up with the Luna and the Rubik with the Timbersaw, they should be doing okay in lanes, and they can actually come out ahead in terms of tempo in the mid game.
What if
off
you
of the
just
Puck
do
and the
Mirana?
Timbersaw.
What if you just do Mirana?
I feel like you don't really have good setup for the arrow, and then, I mean, sure, you're gonna just be farming on the Mirana, but you also kind of want some arrow setup.
Choose your hero.
But it's gonna be a Weaver instead, a
damn.
really good diffusal builder.
We forgot
and-
about this.
Yeah, but the problem with the Weaver is that it's somewhat vulnerable to the Sand King in lane. Now, if it is gonna be that Dust Devil Sand King, the good news is you're gonna not really take a lot of points in Power Strike, so your ABH1 should be fine. That's perhaps what they're banking on. But once it gets to the mid game, this Weaver is gonna have to be very, very careful, because this bug is gonna get stomped. Be it the Clockwork Hookshot, or the Void Spirit with the Remnant, or the Ag Scepter, or the Sand King with the Power Strike. They have a lot of good catch for slippery heroes on the side of Whoops. Rogue Squad, on the other hand, I feel like if they get off to a strong start in lanes, even they wouldn't be doing too bad, because you've got the Timbersaw against 2 Universal heroes and 1 Strength hero, so it's already a ton of damage coming out from him. This is, it's close, but I'd say the draft slightly favors Rogue Squad, maybe 55-60% in their favor compared to Whoops. But in terms of experience, I'd say Whoops have the upper hand.
Yeah. I feel like this is going to be a game that's going to be very close until the 18-20 minute mark. And then it's really going to boil down to how it's played. Also, is No Chance playing 3?
I think so, yeah. No Chance does usually play 3 in his pub, so it's no surprise that he's going to be picking up the Sand King. And a cool little tidbit, factoid about Moy No Chance Ajaz. This man has always played the Sand King in his pubs when it was not in meta. And then he always asks for this hero to be buffed. And then, when the hero is in meta, he never picks it in his pubs. That's what I've seen.
You're spot on. I know his match history very, very well. At the beginning of the whole talent facet shit show batch, this man was spamming 2 heroes, Sand King and Rubik. This is when they would take the Invis Sandstorm talent. And when, people would make Ags, and with the Sandstorm, you'd have spikes coming out. That is when he played a lot of Sand King and a lot of Rubik. So yeah, I think it's good to see him back on the Sand King. I'm personally feeling that this is a game that really is going to boil down to support rotations for the side of Whoops. And for the side of Rogue Squad, it's going to boil down to their supports as well. Quick, guys, there's a QR code on your screen. Scan it now. This is your chance to win MSI goodies. I mean, there is a monitor that you can win.
Oh yeah, and you're gonna have to stay till the end of the second match if you want to avail that, so make sure you stick around. And well, you could, you could go away having a really nice day. Not only did you watch 2 very enjoyable games of Dota by 2 very talented and amazing casters, but you also got a monitor or maybe a bag for your efforts.
Absolutely. And maybe not only did we watch 2 amazing games of Dota with 34 amazing people in chat, but we also got a monitor for our efforts. So,
potentially.
Yeah, win-win for everyone. I know production's trying their hand at this.
Yeah. With that said, though, I mean, I like the fact that Dota, just on a random tangent, just gives you so many couriers now. Every time there's an event, you're gonna get 2-3 couriers for free. And they're all really nice. And
if you're wondering why there's a pause, it's because literally every one of the 10 people on the servers in the player slots are scanning those QR codes right now. So.
Oh yeah, that's the reason why the pause is there. Totally.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like couriers, they tell you a lot about a player's personality. And now that you've got these personal couriers and everyone has a lot of choice, I feel like, it sort of represents, it's a little bit of who you are. It's like a miniature you. Are you going to go for the flashiest courier? Do you like being at the center? Or are you going to go for, a weird-looking courier that is perhaps an inside joke with some of your friends and, go for more of that? What kind of a person are you? I mean, we're doing Rorschach tests here with couriers, and that's what Dota has come down to, and that's what this pause has come down to. That's Roshan.
Just give me a donkey with wings and I'll be okay.
Oh, yeah. The funny thing is even the donkeys look different based on your Dire or Radiant. The donkey on the Dire side has those crooked teeth. I mean, I wouldn't say teeth really, but kind of zigzagged. And then...
one's a Shrek donkey and one's a normal donkey.
Oh, yeah. The Radiant courier, though, looks like a super chill dude. The default one. I feel like that's the kind of guy you'd want to hang out with after work and, share a couple of laughs with. He'd know a good joke or two, and he'd know how to get you in a good mood.
Anyway, Whoops did have a small internet issue. They're back in the game. It's Whoops versus Rogue Squad. One of these 2 teams will be moving on to the next set of qualifiers, to the regional qualifiers in the MSI gaming arena, and one of these teams will go home. Home to playing endless games and wondering why Naga and Sniper are the only 2 supports that show up in my lane.
Oh boy. Yeah, I feel like the Naga support is also something that has been, utilized. And when that hero first came out with the alternate facet, I felt like it could do a lot.
I personally, if No Chance was playing support in this tournament or in this state of the qualifier, I assure you he would be playing Naga.
Yeah, he would totally pick that Naga side in position for, and he'd be like, guys, don't worry. Even if you guys can't carry this game, just buy me another 40 minutes of time, and I will carry the game my damn self.
30 seconds to battle.
Yeah, with that said, though, I feel like the side of Whoops, all they really have to do in this game is make sure that they don't concede too many kills in the lane. As long as they do that, they've got the better scaling lineup, and the lineup should almost play itself, right? Because you've got the smokes, you've got the saves, you've got the jump, you've got the building damage, you've got the big team fight spells, you've got everything you could want for on the side of Whoops. Rogue Squad, on the other hand, you have to be a little bit sneaky. You have to be a little bit clever with how you play this out. You've got a lot of elusive heroes, a lot of mobility, so you want to take a fight on your terms, and you don't really want to run into the ball of Team Whoops. And if Whoops buy all the auras, the ball is going to be stronger, and they can have an easier time closing out the game. But if Rogue Squad come out ahead in lanes, they're going to be throwing a wrench in that plans, and you're going to find out exactly how that goes. As the block in the mid lane, slightly favoring the Void Spirit. And the Void Spirit should be fine here. He has a lot of base damage compared to the Puck, so he should be A-okay in the CS department. Top lane is going to be the Medusa, as well as the Clockwork going up against the Rubik Timbersaw. And again, a lane that does somewhat favor the Medusa. And in fact, this is a repeat from Game 1, because Game 1 was also... well, never mind, it actually wasn't a Medusa Clockwork lane. It was a Medusa Lich lane, if I recall correctly. But there was a Rubik involved, and there was a Clockwork involved in another lane down bottom on the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so never mind, but...
The Medusa did have the Lich by her side. She was up against a Rubik and a Doom. But all of that aside, I'm just trying to register these drafts, and I feel that Rogue Squad are really set up for success here, because this game goes later. I feel that the Weaver should be able to deal with the Medusa. He's going to take a solid layering of skills from the Sand King, from the Void Spirit, from all of them to kill this Weaver and nullify him in fights. And the issue, Floki, is not just the Weaver. There's a Puck, there's a Timbersaw. I'm not convinced that there's enough catch. Like, no chance that the boys have to play these mid-game fights really, really well. Mid lane, Puck versus Void Spirit. Over time, the Puck just starts to win that lane, in my opinion. And then the Void Spirit, it really boils down to his itemization, right? Like, when does he get his Axe? Does he get his Axe? Does he go for a Maid Slayer first? Does he rotate? Like, Void Spirit is so situational.
A lot of this game is going to come down to how Pinkman positions himself in fights, because if they manage to catch out... say the Sand King, as well as oh wait, Clockwork up top, losing a lot of HP, but it's still gonna be HBK who finds the first kill on the Timbersaw.
I didn't see that coming. I didn't see Timber dying level 1, but MNZ and HBK did, and I mean, Whoops are, well, thanking the stars that they get first blood, but they have no business getting first blood. But really good stuff coming out from them. They understand this lane.
Oh yeah, they understand this lane really, really well. They are the ones who have the advantage, a Medusa that can just sort of snake the Timbersaw and the Rubik freely. Doesn't really need to trade, and if the Rubik steps far too forward, a bit too far forward, you've got the cogs. But mid lane, I mean, this is going to be a slightly... Ooh, wait, what?
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I just want to cut across your shock, because if the lanes proceed like this, there's
not going to be much of a mid-game. There's literally not going to be a mid-game if this goes on. Those are 2 kills in a span of less than 2 minutes. In the mid lane, the Void Spirit's doing well. He's got 3 denies compared to the 1 of the Rubik. No chance. Starting to drop. Lona will probably end up dropping over here, but ABH1 might drop himself. Does have a wand. 4th poison charge does not connect. Pinkman knows that, but he's still standing his ground. Has a fair amount of mana remaining on the Shadow Demon. But yeah, pops the wand, pops the Shadow Poison, and so far so good. I mean, Magic Stick lane through and through, you know. Yeah. Shadow Demon loves spamming spells.
There's a Magic Wand as well on ABH1, but yeah, I mean, the Abaddon has a shield. The Weaver should be fine. So Abhi dies, but he does recover. And that's good news if you are a Rogue Squad supporter. Up top, HBK by the Lotus Pool. manages
Oh,
to
yeah.
escape, and it is that 3-minute Lotus that this top lane is eyeing. MNZ needs it for the mana. HBK would like to secure it for the Medusa for the mana. Pushing the wave at this time is so crucial for Whoops, and they're doing just that. With the wave shoving into the Timber and the Rubik, it might be a little tricky for them to access that Lotus pool.
Yeah, ABH1 as well as his laning partner down there in the Abaddon. In fact, that they've pushed up this lane, it's gonna relieve a lot of pressure because the way Shadow Demon Sand King win their lane is by killing you, is by catching you off guard. Up top though, another death on the Timbersaw. Not something that should be happening. I mean, yes, that lane is rough, but I don't think it's that rough.
No chance, he's got to be careful. Swarm upon him. It's actually Pinkwind dying. There is a Butter Strike, but I don't think they can kill ABH1. No chance there with the Butter Strike. Now he's got to run for dear life. The Mist Coil is there, and that's enough. Abhi gets himself a double kill. 3-3.
Oh, yeah.
This has got to be one of the most intense laning starts I've seen in a while, and this is what I was talking about, Floki. If it continues to play out like this, I'm really concerned for the side of Whoops. How do they manage to control the Weaver as the game progresses, especially when there's a save in the form of an Abaddon, there's a frontliner like the Timbersaw, there's an elusive mid like the Bug. 4-minute Water Rune, there is a rotation coming out from HBK, playstyle caught in the cogs, has an op, should be able to get away. HBK can't quite play the
is that
best
gonna be
version of
two
Ping Pong.
runes?
Yeah,
That is gonna be two runes.
And he's got the op to jaunt. Wait, did Archmage commit a TP to get to that side of
Yeah, he did. And he didn't even get the rune. That is painful.
And he didn't even get the flag creep.
Oh man, that's a little rough if you're Archmage, but you know what? Nonetheless, it's still okay. It's early days here for Whoops. It's not
I just saw
the end
two
of the
spells
world.
not do anything.
All right, now you're just being mean. Come on, man. Give the man a break.
I'm just saying what I saw, but I also did mention that as this matchup
Radiant's
progresses, the
bottom
Buck
tower is under
does start to bully the Void Spirit, in my opinion. And then
Yeah, it does. And on top of that, the mid game is going to be super hard. Gonna have to hold on to that thought, though. There is an Aphotic Shield still, so this is a bit of a weird go coming here from Whoops. And in fact, Shadow Demon's going to pay the price for it. No chance. Trying to man up here, trying to fight into ABH1. He's got the stick charges, but does not have the damage. The Shadow Demon just not around, and if he was around, that could have been a kill. But again, 15 one-charges on the Timbersaw, and oh, what a well-timed battery assault coming through from HBK, stopping the Timber chain midway. As again, it's gonna be a third kill going the way of Whoops in that top lane. The Medusa off to a flying start. And you know what? It doesn't matter if Rogue Squad have a really good start in ABH1, because if this Medusa hits the ground running, gets that early pre-20-minute butterfly, I don't see what the Weaver's gonna do. He is not gonna have the damage to take down this Medusa.
you think so?
Yeah,
I feel like the Weaver can. Like, the Weaver's already got himself a Falcon Blade.
You don't really have a lot of damage on the side of Rogue Squad outside the Timbersaw and the Weaver with the Diffusal Blade. But the Butterfly remedy is the Diffusal Blade, and the Timbersaw is being remedied in lane, right? So now the problem is, where's the damage going to come from if you're Rogue Squad? And the answer is maybe an overextension from MNZ, from Team Whoops. But, you know, you can say what you want, but MNZ, I don't think he's dumb enough to overextend in some of these fights. He's going to know when to back off and when to just farm away.
I feel like I agree with you, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, they maybe do not have enough damage to kill the Medusa, but is Whoops... Okay, 6-minute rune, and this is all an offset of that. This is all happening for that 6-minute power-up rune. You see both teams, I mean, more specifically, Whoops have 2 supports made, while the side of Rogue Squad just have a Rubik. I don't think Playstyle is going to get the 6-minute rune. He shouldn't even bother. Team Whoops have this one secured. Archmage getting the Quinn treatment, and HBK taking the invisibility rune. Elsewhere, no chance dies, and yep, a swarm eventually taking care of the Sand King. I really want to look at net worth, and I know for a matter of fact, Floki, that No Chance is very broke right now.
Yeah, but the silver lining is that there are a couple of stacks to fall back on, but I don't know if that's going to be enough against the Weaver. Oh, the Radiant, they see HBK in the invis. They know he's over here. In fact, they could even go for a kill, but Rubik
Hadel was a bit too close, and now he's playing pinball with the Rubik. Hadel, running for his life, will manage to disengage. But yeah, the Invis rune doesn't do all that much for the clockwork. Sandman Invision runes should be one aside. Pinkman should get a stack on his way towards the rune as well. Good supports will do that. I think the Rubik is doing the same as well.
Are scanning.
Oh yeah. I am a little surprised though. I feel like I saw 0 points in the reactive armor from the Timbersaw. That is a little sus. I don't think that's what you're supposed to do.
You can do that sometimes.
Radiant's middle
It's
tower
like,
is under
But
attack.
it is
look
an
at the-
approach.
It is an approach, but it's an approach in a lane where there's a lot of magical damage coming through. And while Medusa does offer that, I mean, it's... You're gonna get right-click. Look at the net worth difference, Vivek. That's what happens when you don't take reactive armor.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, now that we look at the
Radiant's
network,
bottom tower
the
is
Timbersaw
under
is doing
attack.
a
Look at the levels.
lot worse than the Sand King. But I
Yeah.
feel like Shekchali is going to have a mid game where the Puck as well as the Weaver are going to be so active that he's going to be enabled, and just because he's going to do a bunch of burst damage, it should end up working for the side of Rogue Squad.
Oh, is this a dead Rubik? It might just be a dead Rubik.
Is it? Is it?
There is
It
the
is.
move speed. Yep, it is.
It is.
Okay, yeah. Hadel, he tried to turn there, be a bit too cheeky, but the Gorgon's Grasp is there, and HBK is gonna find his 4th kill of the game. Man, this guy. I mean, when he's getting kills, that's when you know your game is
Oh,
gonna
the
be
8-minute rune,
super
Floki.
rough. Okay, well, again, the Quinn treatment being dished out to being dished out to Archmage,
Radiant's
and
courier has been killed.
well, actually, not being dished out to Archmage, but being dished out to playstyle instead. You know, just supports there for each rune.
Yeah.
Able to secure it. It's going to be a DD, but it looks like Archmage wants to farm for the time being. He doesn't really
Yeah.
want to make any rotations just yet, and that makes sense. You
Yeah.
don't want to rotate against a Puck who's got Dream Coil.
Yeah.
This is...
Oh, well, that's the dream call you mentioned, Floki. Playstyle putting it to use, finds the clockwork.
my God.
The illusory
Wait.
of misses, the coil snaps. HBK should end up dying, and there's all those points in Timber Chain and Whirling Death paying dividends as Rogue Squad get a kill and a big streak early on. I mean, this is a bit of an issue with supports, right? Like, if you accumulate a lot of kills, get a lot of impact early on, this can tend to happen. No Chance is bit by bit going to be kicked out of this lane. Eventually, we're going to see a rotation around the 10-minute siege creep, Floki. One of these teams will try and take down the enemy safe lane tier 1 tower. And I'm really curious to see that next moment of this game, because that's where either No Chance is going to like permanently be set into the back foot, or
Yeah.
he might have a chance to take Whoops into the mid game with a little bit of success. For now, though, folks are grouped up mid. Abhi's moved mid. This is unusual. This is Draccio, Skeeter, and Radon put into one. Is Abhi and the Weaver moves mid, kills HBK. He's doing the damage, but there's a disruption. Big win with the same buys a little bit of time. But elsewhere, No Chance dies. It's
No way.
Timbersaw that gets
Oh.
the kill, and Abhi chasing for more as the time lapse can retreat. But Archmage with the amplified damage wants his Weaver, wants his Cockroach, won't find him. The Abaddon is also moved in, and Rubik's there as well. The Aether Remnant doesn't do all that much. Abhi has a shield, turns towards Archmage. Who does he want? Coil committed, the Void Spirit caught in it. Should probably end up dying. They're not messing around. They'll get the enemy mid laner. Archmage, welcome back to the
Radiant's
competitive
top tower
circuit.
is under
It's still
attack.
hard.
Oh man, what a rough fight here. The Puck caught the Dream Coil once again. That fight was so long. It started
I
off
love
with
this fight.
a
Look at
pick off
bottom.
on
They're
HBK.
moving bottom immediately. Shekchali did get that one kill on a No Chance, and here comes Abhi. The rotating Weaver will stop because his swarm didn't quite connect.
And he doesn't have the time lapse, so he's gonna have to be a little careful here. But actually, I mean, the one good thing about this build is, yeah, you get destroyed in lane, but yeah, it doesn't matter because, well, you don't have reactive armor, but you've got a ton of damage, so that always works in your favor.
Oh, yeah.
Radiant's top tower
I
is
say
under
that, and
attack.
he is bottom of the net worth on course, but you know, to be fair to him, it's not like No Chances up there either. So this is a game where we can see him be a little experimental and see if that experiment
Another
ends
kill?
up being successful. No, that was a
Wait.
replay.
Radiant's
Okay,
structures
I
are
thought I heard it
fortified.
off replay.
Yeah, deja vu all over again? No.
Well, game slowed down a bit. B did make his rotation, but didn't quite get any meaningful objective on the back of that. I guess everybody's
Radiant's
going to
bottom
breathe a
tower
bit
is under
until the
attack.
12-minute power-up rune. No Chance has a nice, juicy stack to work with.
Oh
Pinkman
man, that's a full 3-course meal. That's burger,
Absolutely.
fries, a Coke, dessert.
And
chicken
cardiac
wings.
arrest.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well-
I think it's important to do this, especially for the tier 1 neutrals.
Yeah, and also the fact that you pick up the early blink, which is what I feel like No Chance should have done, but he's going for the Bloodstone early on, and you know what? That's also completely fine, because if he gets Dream Coiled up, I feel like the only way he survives is with the Bloodstone.
If they hit the coil on MNZ, if Abi had a little bit of patience, that could have been a kill, but regardless, Floki, they should be getting that tier 1 tower up top.
Yeah, they should be. This
Dire's
is
top tower
going to be
is
going
under
down here
attack.
nice and early for the side of Rogue Squad. Team Whoops, they haven't really activated just yet. The Void Spirit, even though he got a really good treatment in the mid lane, that one death has really set him behind, and now playstyle's taken over. He's got 5.4k net worth on the puck, 1,000 ahead of the Void Spirit. His Dream Coil's up and running, and he is a very potent threat on the side of Rogue Squad. It's not someone you can deal with
Archmage.
easily. Okay, they are attempting to try and make a play onto playstyle, but he's got the orb, will be able to jaunt out.
Should be
Coil.
fine. Should be fine. And you're a butter strike. No Chance moves in and they find playstyle. The coil committed, they'll find the puck, and now with the demonic purge, they'll turn towards Hadel. Shek Chili drops the chakram, but it's laughable at best. And Abi wants no part of this. The puck and the Rubik overextend and they get punished, but you can be rewarded if you scan this QR code.
Oh yeah. All you have to do is scan the QR code, stay till the end, and you'll get the prize. But coming back
Yeah.
to the game, beautiful rotation coming in from Team Whoops. I love just how crisp that was. A moment ago, a 1k net worth lead for Whoops. Now, a 5k net worth lead. And because they were very quick, they were decisive, they managed to take down the puck and get another bonus kill on top. So now they are going to be cruising here. And look at this. Is this where you used to see a Medusa 13 minutes in? He's in the enemy's triangle farming away.
Uh-oh.
And the Sabadon is getting punished for stepping up to his own triangle. Ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. And guess what? The Abaddon, he doesn't even have borrowed time yet. He's missing just a smidgen of HP. Sorry,
Yeah.
XP, not HP, before he
Absolutely.
gets that out.
The clockwork hasn't hit 6 either. So this shouldn't be happening. Rogue Squad are going to feel really unhappy about that. No Chance is recovered as well. MNZ, well, he didn't activate himself as early as the Weaver, but he is active now. And Whoops are the ones poking at objectives, asking questions. And Rogue Squad, well, not much that they can do. They'll have to wait for the puck and her Dream Coil. But at this stage of the game, Floki, you don't really want to go on the Medusa. You got to find a better opening. No Chance. Skirting around the tower with that sandstorm. The hook shots
shot.
there. HBK now level 6. And with that Aether Remnant, they find the puck. No save coming out from the Abaddon as he's now being disrupted by Pinkman. The hero that's meant to save his cause is now dead as well. No one lives. The objective
Not
that Whoops
defended.
came for should end up falling.
Yep. I mean, this again, this is sort of the lapses in judgment that the side of Rogue Squad are
Radiant's
making.
middle
They
tower is under
committed
attack.
to the tier 1 push up top, but not everyone was in position or ready for it, so they got punished. This time around, playstyle, he wants to defend his tier 1 mid, but he's got no allies. The Abaddon not in range for the shield. The White Spirit goes on him, slows him down, and they even pick up a bonus skill. And this is all because there is a lapse in communication on Rogue Squad. Sure, individually, early game lanes, they did outplay them down there in the bottom, and even in the mid lane a little bit. But when it comes to this 15 to 20 minute mark, Whoops, they're showing why they're the more experienced team. It is because their communication is good. It is because they're crisp and decisive on the map, and they don't second guess themselves. And again, MNZ, he is following the enemy's goddamn triangle. Somebody put a stop to this man. If you can. Because there's a Shadow Demon behind him that you're gonna have to deal with as well. This is just... It pains me to say this, but a 7k net worth lead in 15 minutes is not indicative of what happened in the early game here for Rogue Squad.
I 100% agree with you, Floki. I mean, it was the Weaver rotating, looking for objectives, and the Weaver tried his best. Okay, now they're going to try again. Coil committed, they'll pull back the Medusa. She does get off the Stone Gaze. Can they get the kill? Oh, the hook shot, not quite perfect, but HBK does enough to control play's time. They have the Demonic Purge, and No Chance with a Battle Strike will ensure that they bring down the enemy mid-2 position puck, and they defend that tier 1 tower.
My god, this is just insane value coming here from Whoops. They shut down
What?
the rotation, they save the Medusa, they find a courier just hanging about.
courier has
Pinkman
been
snags it, doesn't get punished. This is just absolute murder. This is murder in broad daylight. And Rogue Squad, even though they're the ones whose name suggests they should be the one, doing all of this stuff, it's Whoops getting away with all of it.
And a big problem for me is that, one, the puck has started to fall off. Two, that I've not felt the Timbersaw's presence in this game, other than the initial laning phase. I do not know where this man is on the map, what he's up to, what he's building. But I'm concerned because they're looking at an 8k deficit, and a network deficit, okay. It's not the end of the world, but I'm just looking at really how far behind the players on the side of Rogue Squad are in terms of items. I mean, playstyle hasn't gotten anything. Archmage and HBK have probably done enough to bring down the puck yet again. But the Mystic Coil committed, the puck stays alive. MSI's moved in as well. And now there's a team fight coming out from Rogue Squad. Look at this. Shadow Demon running straight at them. Archmage has an haste rune. Will go again for playstyle. The Aether Remnant doesn't connect. Playstyle is quick with those fingers. Will manage to disengage, but it doesn't matter. Shekchili comes in. Wants Pink Win. Demonic Purge upon the Timbersaw. No points in reactive armor. Kaya. And that's enough for him to stay alive, and enough for Hadel to come in and kill the Shadow Demon. Abhisha in the fight as well. They look towards the clockwork. The epicenter committed from No Chance. Who does he get? Very beautiful power strike coming out from No Chance. Will secure the kill onto the Rubik. The Abaddon has got his ultimate, gets all that HP back, but he's running for his life. Playstyle has thrown out 5 orbs in this fight, but it's not resulting in much. No Chance chasing down the Abaddon, gets the kill, and now he's looking for more. Bloodstone at 18 minutes, Loki. This Sand King, near unkillable, and there's HBK with the second hook shot of this never-ending fight. It shows that there's time for No Chance to control the Timbersaw. The Timbersaw dead. The puck and the Weaver can only watch as one after another Rogue Squad are bleeding left and right in this bottom lane.
Oh yeah, I mean, Rogue Squad, they just got taken to a dark alley and got shanked, and all you can really say is whoops. But I feel like at this point, you need to have the BKB on the Weaver. You had to have had the Diffusal Blade. But he's got neither. He went for the Maelstrom. He's going for the Glyphnir. I like the fact that he was playing aggressive. I feel like we should have seen a lot more of that. But instead, it's Archmage, the man who was low in net worth early on, who didn't really have the easiest of times against playstyle in the mid lane. Beautiful dodge coming in from Archmage on the Void Spirit, showing us that even though he's old, he's still got the reflexes of a cat. And that's the butterfly finished up for MNZ. 3-20 minutes away.
And this is scary. Whoops to smoke. No chances looking. He's hunting. Actually, they don't even need kills. With this butterfly complete on the Medusa, they can just look for objectives. No Chance gets ahead, gets the puck, and there's the Ags on the Void Spirit coming into play. Playstyle dead. Pinkman with the Demonic Purge. Him and HVK, they're ganging up on this poor little Rubik. The Rubik dies before he could use whatever spell he stole. Whoops. Get Archmage to double kill. And now they're looking for more. They found the Timbersaw, but there's no real follow-up. The Clockwork does have his hookshot, so I mean, Shekchili can't be this reckless, to be honest. It's just that Whoops are respecting the fact that there's a tier 2. And because it's only 20 minutes in the game, the respawn timers are short, so they're just being nice, not pursuing that Wisdom Rune, but they've gotten what they wanted, they've done damage, and they're reassessing their options on the map.
Yeah, and Rogue Squad, I mean, all they can really do right now is wait for that Blink Dagger to come out from playstyle, because without that, it's just impossible for him to find the right initiation. You're just gonna have Pinkman saving up whoever gets coiled with that disruption, and then all of a sudden, your initiation has gone kaput. Timbersaw, on the other hand, I mean, that guy, he went for the 0 points in reactive armor. It was an experimental build. It hasn't been a very successful experiment. And Archmage is now just playing around with his food. He knows that he's got the banish available. In fact, it's not even going to be used here by Pinkman, just courtesy of how tanky Archmage is with the Aghanim Scepter. And instead, it's the Sand King who comes in, jumps into the backline, creates a lot of chaos, and now the Timbersaw is trying to go in and do the same, and maybe he can do that. Maybe they can find a couple of kills. Void Spirit dropping low, the Clockwork is going to end up dropping, but so does Playstyle. That's the mid laner gone. Beautiful 2-man Battle Strike, as well as the epicenter coming through. No time lapse to save the Weaver, and that is going to be the death of ABH1, as well as all 4 members on the side of Rogue Squad. The only survivor of the massacre being the Timbersaw, the man who started it all.
Radiant's
And
middle
Rogue Squad,
tower is under
I mean,
attack.
yeah, you had your great lanes, but what do you have to show for it? I mean, nothing. You've lost your tier 1 towers, you're gonna lose your tier 2 towers, you're gonna lose Rosh, and if this keeps going the way it's going, you're eventually gonna lose the game as well.
The problem is that the cogs are really ensuring that the Abaddon can't do much. Like, they drop the cogs and, like, the Abaddon cannot cross them. If it wasn't for the clockwork, these fights could look different. Like, the Abba could chime in with saves. Also, no chance, like, I mean, there was pressure applied to him in the laning phase, but man has come out with a Bloodstone and a Blink Dagger. If they were laughing before the draft, they're definitely laughing now, because they are clearly in the driver's seat of this game. And knowing no chance, he's probably scanning the QR code right now. Which you
Yeah, he
guys should
probably
do
is.
as well.
He probably is. Scan the QR code, make sure you stay tuned to the end, and stand a chance to win a lot of goodies. But I feel like Rogue Squad, if they signed up for this giveaway, I feel like that's the only thing they're going to be winning. Because I don't think the chances of making it to the playoffs or even to the next phase are looking very, very good here.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the Timbersaw, right? He's ahead of the puck in terms of net worth. And what are his items? A Kaya and a Cloak. That's it.
Yep.
That is not a position 3
Dire's
Timbersaw.
middle tower is under
Yeah, that's
attack.
a position 4 Timbersaw that somehow, you know, a crazy post 4 player like Boxy or yourself, Vivek, has somehow managed to find a way to make work. That's what that Timbersaw is.
But this isn't working. That's the issue. Anyway, no chance. Well, he's poking at the puck while the Medusa elsewhere has gotten the Aegis for herself. Archmage did have an amplified damage room. A lot of us would rather call it DD, but it is now AD
Yep,
after
it is.
Dota.
Indeed. That is after ability draft.
Yep.
Shout out to all the ability draft
I think
players. I know
people
there's
who
a lot of
play
you.
ability
Radiant's bottom
draft
tower is
have
under attack.
enough IQ points to just open their mouth to put food into it. Nothing more.
I feel like it's the exact opposite. I feel like people who play ability draft have the highest IQ and they're the most humble people on earth. Because when was the last time you saw a guy whining about ability draft balance changes? The answer,
Dire's
literally
middle
never.
tower is under
Yeah.
attack.
I feel like you play ability draft if you're a real psychopath, you know? You
Yeah.
don't care about balance. You don't care about the world. You don't care about anything at all. You're here for a good time. One way or
Okay.
another.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Do you play ability
Dire's
draft?
middle tower is under attack.
No, I don't. I'm a bit of a... I wouldn't say I'm
Conformist.
insane enough. Yeah, I am a conformist.
Traditionalist.
I enjoy the base game, you know, fair enough. I feel like... Alright, I gotta be honest. I feel like ability draft is
What
played
the
by...
heck? Where?
Okay,
Where
I
did the
don't
puck
know.
die?
I don't
Why?
know. I don't know who plays ability draft now, but I feel like if this was 2014, it would be the
Floki.
puck playing ability draft in a
I
bit.
mean, Whoops are just ending the game right now. And there is no sort of a defense coming out from the side of Rogue Squad. They're up against a Medusa that has Aegis, a Butterfly, and a Deadless.
My goodness, this is... oh boy. I mean, honestly, he's just been spamming his voice lines and there's been literally no response, no pulse from the side of Rogue Squad. Even though they were the ones winning the early game, it seems like they're now winning, well,
Dire's top
the
tower
mid game
is under
and
attack.
well, the late game. The team whoops, they're on the money. Even though the mid lane wasn't pretty, even though the bottom lane wasn't pretty, the top lane was going really, really well, courtesy of HBK and MNZ. And you know what? They are the reason the side of Team Whoops managed to win. I mean, if it weren't for their lane, this game would have been a lot closer. But given the fact that they had that security from the top lane, they knew that they can easily come back in this game and win it off. And just to make things worse, their draft is the better draft late game. So it's not even like Rogue Squad now has a somewhat of a chance to come back in this game. Look at HBK's itemization. He's got a goddamn Orchid at the ready. Oh, hook shot. It's going to come through and he's going to have the Orchid as well. There's the power cogs to come through and ABH1 has been caught out. Can he be taken down though? No, there's going to be a time lapse. Shikuchi to move away.
Archmage is here. I think he's
Archmage
coming
coming
for...
in.
I mean, the Glyphony is cute, but everybody's here for ABH1. Just like they are when he's on his Discord streaming his pub and losing all by himself. Everybody's there to make fun of him. This time, everybody's there to kill him. Anyway, Team Whoops in a very convincing
Radiant's
position.
top tower is under attack.
at the 26-minute mark. The Medusa still has the Aegis. They've also got Pinkman on the Shadow Demon that can set up illusions of the Medusa to poke at tier 3s in addition to the insane damage that she's already doing. There's a Solar Crash buffing up her attack speed. There's HBK with an Orchid. There's Archmage with the Ags. 2 silences. No BKBs just yet on Rogue Squad. They are facing elimination here at the MSI Gaming Arena as MNC and company will poke at the tier 3.
I mean, there is no puck.
There is
Getting
no
away
puck,
on the
and I,
set.
personally, even if there was a puck, I didn't think it would make a goddamn difference, Loki. MNC playing objective-based Dota. The
I
Chakram.
mean, this is just him being arrogant. Look at that. He is literally daring them to go on him. He is so far up ahead of his team. He knows he's tanky enough to survive all of this. Oh,
Absolutely.
I heard hook
Big
shots
hook
and
shot.
butter
I'm not
strikes
quite
going
sure
on.
where that hook shot's... Who is it for, rather? It's for ABHR1, who's got his BKB. He'll turn towards HBK, but there's the Stone Gaze. Medusa does look after a clockwork, and there's no shots. Epicenter, Bottle Strike onto 2. The Rubik is most certainly dead. Shakchili will run for his life, but he'll fall as well. The Stinger is there. Sure. Whoops will lose their clockwork, and Shakchili does buy back, but they'll lose the Rubik as well. The Gorgon's Grasp does clip the Timber Saw. Good disruption coming out from Pikmin to keep No Chance alive while Archmage cleans up. He's found the ever-crucial kill onto the Weaver, and now without the Weaver, and the Weaver not having buyback, I'm not quite sure Rogue Squad can defend. Playstyle, trying to really poke at No Chance. No Chance does have a Glimmer Cape, whips his first power strike of the game, but whoops, they are in a commanding position. HBK has a buyback if he needs to. The puck is doing damage now with the Witchblade, but it's not enough to really scare Whoops. They'll just be a super disciplined team about this and back
Nah, he's
off.
gonna go
Actually,
back
they're
in.
not backing off. They're going to go back in. It's
Yep.
Pinkman with the disruption. MNC is Illusions. Rogue Squad. Well, I don't know what they have. If they've got hope, it's admirable.
Oh, yeah. But hope is not going to take them through in these qualifiers. It will, however, maybe give them a chance of winning the giveaway if they did scan the QR code. So the next time it pops up, make sure you do that and make sure you participate in the giveaway and have a chance to win some of these MSI goodies.
There you go.
There is it.
GG.
That's it. Gets called up, and ooh, a question mark being dropped here by MNZ. Feisty. Really feisty coming out from him, but Team Whoops, 28 minutes, a clinic, a masterclass. Despite the poor early game, it is going to be them who move on here in the Indian leg of the qualifiers.
Great stuff coming out from all of them. I feel like this was really a team effort, and it's not about effort. They played another class of Dota. And yeah, if you look at our 2 teams that move on from this leg of the qualifier, I don't think we even need to blink twice to say that Whoops are just playing far superior Dota Floki.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that the quality of the decisions is that much better, right? In the mid game, even though you ended up losing bottom lane, you ended up, I wouldn't say losing per se in the mid lane, but you didn't really get as much tempo as you would have liked in the mid lane. You just sort of fumbled the bag. If you're Rogue Squad, there was such a good opportunity there towards the mid game with the puck, with the Weaver to just start to shut the side of the enemy team down. Even though the Timbersaw didn't have points in the reactive armor, if he just timed his rotation correctly and timed his jumps properly, he could have still come back in the game, but we didn't see that happening. In fact, the Timbersaw, he didn't even skill reactive armor up until like level 9, and that was kind of ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, I don't think you can get away with that kind of stuff if you're not going to be making plays on the map. And to be fair, Rogue Squad were making plays. They were making plays until they stopped succeeding, and then all of a sudden they just lost faith in themselves. They started to farm up a little bit more, and you could start to see, like, when ABH1 was pushing the envelope towards mid, there was some sweat on the brow of Whoops, because they lost Archmage courtesy of the Dream Coil, and then the Tier 1 was under siege. But they just didn't bring enough numbers, and, you know, then MNZ showed up, and you know, the Tier 1 was easier to defend, and from there on it was just a downward spiral for the side of Rogue Squad, because nothing worked out after that point. So yeah, I do think that there is potential in Rogue Squad, but for the day, it is going to be No Chance in the Boys showing to us in the end that it is experience that prevails, and, you know, laning, it matters, but it probably does not matter.
Absolutely. I think each one of them played phenomenal Dota. I love that Archmage went for the early Ags. Just strong play through and through. Pinkman, very solid on where he needs to be on the map. Aggressive impact for this jungle team, and I think his stacks were crucial for No Chance to recover. And in addition to that, at the 8 or 9 minute mark, the Medusa is just sitting in the enemy triangle. That is probably one of the more ludicrous things I've seen. But kudos to Rogue Squad. They played pretty well. I was really impressed with their laning. I was super impressed with Abi trying to make that rotation towards mid. Unfortunately, Whoops were just the better team. And if Rogue Squad were on the other side of the bracket, I don't know what. I see possibility and hope in there being a different finalist. But on this side of the bracket, no.
Yeah, certainly not the case. But the thing is, I also want to give a shout out over to Playstyle, because he was really getting hammered at mid by the two supports, right? He didn't get a single rune, but he still somehow managed to create that net worth gap between him and Archmage. And if there was ever a sliver of hope for the side of Rogue Squad, a big part of that is going to be the puck in the mid lane and also the Weaver down bottom over here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I feel like if they made the move into the triangle nice and early to take away the strong camp stacks from the side of Team Whoops, then this game would have been different. Maybe even the Timbersaw could have showed up, You take your Timbersaw, Puck, your Weaver, you go straight to the strong camp, you contest all the farm over there, and maybe this is a different game. But they didn't do that. They tried to fight, they tried to be nasty and scrappy early on, but I feel like that was what you had to do once all these other options were exhausted, which is contesting the enemy stacks, which was grouping up for objectives and taking them nice and early and not giving the side of Whoops a lot of breathing room. But it just never happened. Rogue Squad, if anything, I feel like they want to look back between the 8 to 15 minute mark of this game and see what went wrong. And I feel like that's where they'll find their answer on what to improve whenever they play a tournament next.
I agree. I also feel that there are certain issues with how they play the offlane and the mid lane. I feel like you can't really fault Avi's plays, and I feel like the Abaddon and the Rubik did their part, but there are gaps in their two cores between the mid lane and the offlane. And there's definitely room for improvement there. No Chance had a field day, great power strikes, great epicenters, and also I love the presence of mind, just moving from Bloodstone to the Link immediately.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, just the extra catch, you had to have that if you want to kill the Weaver and the Puck. And if he didn't go for that Blink followed up by the Bloodstone, maybe the side of Rogue Squad even get more time. But not this time around. Sand King, honest to God, offlaner, love to see it. This is what I want to see more of Mr. Moy, No Chance of Ejaz. Enough of the Wind Rangers, enough of all the experimental position threes. This is what we want. Blinks, stuns, and you can see the result in this game, a 28-minute victory. But we do have the MVP screen coming up. I think it's going to be the MNC Medusa, is it? No, it's going to be the HBK Clockwork, and you know what? This man deserves it. Those 4 kills in the early game on the Timbersaw was so crucial, and if it weren't for his awareness, it probably would not have been this easy for them.
This is tricky. Like, I usually lean towards support MVPs, or I tend to be in favor of them on occasion. He did play really well. I love the Orchid, I love the Solar Crest, and all the fast pickups, his itemization. His hook shots in the mid lane, his rotation. So he did play really well, but is this a clear MVP through and through?
I
interesting.
feel like, it's 50-50, but you know what? Just for once in Dota, instead of the 80 times that we give it to cores, this is going to be one of those 20% of the times that we actually give it to the support. Even though it was somewhat even, I feel like suppose don't get enough credit. If you, as a position 5, ever find 4 to 5 kills in a lane, that's going to be a very big reason behind why you win the game. Because what people don't see is the hidden effect of the carry not having any pressure and farming away freely, which is exactly what MNC's game was like.
Yeah.
And that's what won them the game. And it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for HBK.
Actually did finish his pipe. There's a Gleipnir and a BKB on Abi. I mean, like, we did see that BKB in the end. The pos for Rubik didn't find a lot of chance or opportunities to move around the map. Pinkman had a great game, no chance. Obviously, MNZ not dying a single time and then dropping the question mark in the lineage of his legends like Emo and Pure and Amar. So, yeah, classic pos 1 gold. This is what is expected of you in 2024. Don't die. Use punctuation at the end of the game and then, yeah, move on.
Yep, that's about sums it up for this game. A very, very hard game for the side of Rogue Squad. And you know what? If anything, that is credit to Team Whoops. These guys have been the juggernauts of the Indian Dota scene for a reason. You're not going to take them down easy. You're going to have to do your homework, dot your I's and cross your T's. And unless you do that, don't expect to be beating them. Don't expect to be taking them down. But if there is one man who does his homework, who dots his I's and crosses his T's, it's on the other side, and that man is Pasol. And we'll see if he's been watching this replay, and if he's been doing his homework, and if he is gonna know what to do against the side of Team Whoops tomorrow. But yeah, it's still gonna be a hard-fought affair. It's not gonna be, well, easy. And well, you know what is easy? Winning a monitor, just like you have, Mr. Angelo Bass from, Angelo Bass, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing this, from the Philippines. Congratulations on winning a monitor. This is all you, buddy. All because you tuned in, you scanned the QR code, you stayed till the end. Here's your reward. Enjoy. But you know what? This could have been any one of you. This could have been anyone who stayed here in the stream. So make sure you're tuning in every day. Make sure you're scanning the QR code and make sure that you are claiming these prizes for yourself, because you're not going to find out unless you stay here until the end of the stream. So yeah.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Angelo. I hope you have many green days with that monitor in whatever game you play. And hats off to MSI and his perseverance to take part in the giveaway. Quick look at tomorrow's schedule, which should be coming up on our screen shortly. This is the schedule for Thailand, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, this is a schedule we will know soon enough when these teams are playing. Also, if you want to check, if you want to confirm, do follow MSI Gaming on Instagram. There are regular updates. There's going to be a giveaway tomorrow as well. So no matter what, jump into the stream tomorrow, and maybe Angelo wins 2 monitors and he has a 2-monitor setup.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe that's what's going to take his game to the next level. Maybe that's what he's always needed, you know? One screen for the minimap, one screen for the game itself, and then you can finally stop reporting your supports for not TPing because you didn't notice that the enemy supports were missing on the map for 45 seconds. But with that said, that's going to be about, I believe that's going to be about it for today. That's all the action we had in store for you. So, yeah, I believe this is about it. Vivek, do you have any closing words?
No, nothing. Thank you so much for tuning in, and congrats to Angelo. And guys, if you have any feedback for us, our Instagram IDs are down below. You can drop us DMs or you can not. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow with more action from the MSI Gaming Arena. This is Vivek and Floki signing out.